Hey, there we go. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to another motivating edition of Mornings Alive with Keith and Friends, your daily accountability partner in this crazy journey we call life. That's what it is. I'm Keith Billis, and today's show is packed with entertaining conversation about designing your perfect morning routine. We got Saam Golgoon joining us on the center stage. We're going to get to know Sam in the next few minutes here, mornings in the show. But before we dive in, remember to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment about your current morning routine or lack thereof. Quick reminder, guys, this is an R-rated experience. So if you got some children in the room, you might want to invite them out, or just tell them that Keith or Johnny or Sam, maybe even Marty, might drop some words that might offend the children in the room. So I invite you to get them out of here, or if you might be offended by some of the language, just get out of here. Yeah, we don't filter truth around here. And speaking of truth, guys, that snooze button will get after you. You hit it once, you're 9 minutes behind. You hit it twice, you're 20 minutes behind. 18, actually. You do it all year, you're going to be a couple weeks behind the guy who doesn't. So I invite you to get up, get after it. And don't wait for someday. Don't wait for one day. And don't be the guy, Johnny, don't be the guy that says, well, but I know. Oh, I know. Well, then if you know, get up, get after it. Coming to us this morning, we got the man of the hour, Jon Andersen, sitting over there. See Marty Finney's over there. We got producer Jimmy on the buttons. We got producer Carter on the buttons as well here today. Melissa behind the scenes. We got Maddie Roof. We got Maddie Roof joining us over in the community as well. We're rolling after it. Hey guys, next Monday, a week from today, Uncommon Kindness, Kindness Rising, the morning show to help you start on the right side of the bed. Well, if you get on the left side of the bed, that might help too. But Matt Roof starting brand new morning show, kicking off the show here on Mornings Alive with Keith and Friends. We're going to get after it 30 minutes earlier every single day. Matt's going to open the doors up. Yeah, he's going to open the doors so you guys are out there waiting for him. Good morning, Bernard. I see you there in the comments. You're getting after first thing this morning, Bernard. I appreciate you. And hey, Terry the Troll. Carter, we got Terry the Troll here today. Look at that, Terry. Carter, Terry the Troll. What's going on there? Eileen Ulick. Eileen Ulick. Oh, that's not. No, come on. Can we not do better than that? I know we can do better with those kind of words. What's up, Holroyd? I see you there in the comments. Adam Holroyd was shaking there, brother. Jimmy, let's bring in the patient man. I see him patiently just sitting there waiting. He's going to do the first suck of the day of the cigar, of course, Johnny. How are you, brother?
I'm good. Good. I mean, I should say I'm good, but holy man, I'm fully not recovered from this run we've been on. Holy shit, man. What
kind of run are you talking about?
We were gone in Vegas for a good chunk of last week, and then we came home and went literally just all we did was repack and go to San Diego, help our middle daughter move.
Okay.
And then came back, and I was holy Toledo, man. I was wiped out at like almost kind of a new level. Like I realized that I had not stayed on top of my hydration properly, and I was like dehydrated, like almost reminded me of kind of like a mild early stages of like a contest prep where you're dehydrated, where shit is malfunctioning, like random fucking cramps and all sorts of shit, you know.
you know what I love about you, man? You always have a reason. Like you always know. It's like and I mean that as a compliment, but you're so dialed in with your mental and your physical state. You always know. Like you're like, okay, well,
dude,
I ate this.
It took me a while to figure it out, though. I was kind of shitting in my pants, man. Because on Sunday morning, I kept I get up to take a piss, right?
Yeah.
And I'm getting up to take a piss, and I'm like fully fucking dizzy. Like I'm losing my fucking balance going to take a piss. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's like I fucking woke up drunk, you know?
No.
No, of course not. I'm not drunk, but that's how it felt. And I was like, so I'm as I wake up later in the morning, I'm like trying to piece this together. Like, what the fuck is going on? Then I realized there was just too many days in a row where my system was not being treated within the guidelines it's used to. I was good with food, but I was behind on water, largely because all these podcasts and shit. I got to sit there for at least. Like here, you let me go all the time. These podcasts, I got minimum of an hour before I can take a piss.
Yeah, Johnny, so just going to offer something to you, brother. Your assistant can help you out there. Before you go to a podcast, you just let me know, and you can just your assistant can get them a heads up and just say, "Hey guys, my boss needs a break every now and then. So when you guys have my boss on the podcast, just let him. I'm just giving you a heads up that he will need to leave every 12, 15 minutes for a piss. So just let me know, brother. I'm happy to help.
A lot of these in studios, they don't want to cut them.
Oh. What do you mean?
Yeah, because you're there in person. That makes sense. You're sitting across a table.
No, I understand. Oh, so they're like, you can't get up and go for a piss, and we're going to restart the recording.
Well, when they say, of course, if I said I had to go, what are they going to say? No, take my fucking birthday away. But they say, look, this is our format. This is what we're trying to do. They tell you ahead of time.
I get you. Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, like we're live, right?
Yes.
Well, people like uncut. People want real. People want, if it's all fucking butchered up, what's really going on there?
That's right. That's exactly right. Yes. Hey, Johnny said we're live. Guys, live is the future. Live is absolutely the future. We are living in a world of you don't know what's real, you don't know what's fake. So Keith and Johnny get after it every single day here, creating live content to help you guys get up and get after it every single day here at Mornings and Live with Keith and Friends. Your accountability partner. We're free. We're absolutely free. There's no cost to hang out with Keith and Johnny every single day for a couple hours every single morning to get after it. However, if you do want to join the Mornings in the Lab community, I invite you guys to join up here. It's $5 a month, $20 a month, not to line Keith and Johnny's pants. No. I got to pay for my son's insurance. No, all kidding aside. We are looking to reinvest in Carter's in the lab here right now. So we are just looking to reinvest back into the show here, you guys, to keep growing this wonderful platform to help everybody get up and get after it. Guys, I want to get into, Matt, I'm not wearing pants. I'm actually wearing shorts here today, and I have many angles to show you. I'm going to get a new angle that's going to be a knee angle.
Dude, I never even put pants on to come to this thing. I always sit here in my drawers.
Yeah, I know.
I sit here in my drawers every fucking time.
Yes, that's awesome. Hey, I want to talk how to train for 100 in a few moments. The decathlon, you didn't even know
100.
Yeah. So, Johnny, Peter Attia, well-respected longevity expert. I think he is a doctor, Dr. Peter Attia. He's a fitness dude. You absolutely know who he is. I need to. Yeah, Dr. Peter Attia. So before I get into it, though, I've been I have, maybe it could be a dad joke, Johnny. So maybe you're gonna laugh and maybe you're not. But I've been thinking about this longevity experts. So we live in a world where people want social proof. And like, okay, well, I see that John could talk about being strong because John's clearly strong. He's been a strongman. I can see John can talk about being a bodybuilder because he's been a bodybuilder. I can see John has done a number of things. So there's social proof. I can see Keith's built a business, so I can listen to Keith about building a business. So here's the question for you, my brother. How can you be a longevity expert if you haven't reached 100 yet? I'm going to teach you.
Okay, that's where the 100 came from. Okay, I got you.
But I'm kind of joking because you have this new era.
Totally.
You have all these new longevity experts now that are teaching you and I how to live longer, but yet they're the same age as you and I. So I'm thinking to myself, well,
it's it is, brother. It's the modern medicine. It's the Western medicine, I should say.
Yes.
A doctor, let's just say a TRT doctor, right?
Yes.
He's going to rebalance your endocrine system, and he's basically never done it himself, but he's learned from a book, so he knows. Versus the fucking the athletes that are in the fucking trenches that are doing this shit understand that the Arimidex that they prescribe crashes all of your fucking estrogen, and you end up being tired and all sorts of crazy shit. But these fuckers don't know that because they've learned in a book. Well, it's the same thing. Well, they've gathered knowledge enough in a book to claim that they have the fucking path to 100.
God, Mom, I love you is what I'm going to say next, Johnny. Be careful. Yeah, I'm glad you're sitting. So my mom, they were over last night for Carter and Grace's grad dinner. So we had a family dinner last night. And my mom's telling us that she downloaded an app, Johnny. She's all proud of this app she downloaded. It's a walking app. And I was like, but Mom, I'm like, hold on, Mom. What's it going to tell you to do every single day? Walk. I'm like, Mom, you're paying $12 a month for the app? Tell you what, why don't you pay me $10 a month? I'll call you every single morning and say, Gladys, yes, Keith, walk. There's your app. Walk.
I love what you're saying, brother, but I just need to go I need to boil this down one level to be more simple, one layer.
Walk.
How do you How do you spell mum?
Why?
Well, I just want to know what you're saying. I just need to if you spell it, I'll understand exactly what you're saying.
Walk. No. I spell mum M-O-M, not M-U-M like my friends in the
Are you sure you're not saying M-U-M? Because everybody listening swears to God you're saying M-U-M. Mum.
Mum.
I mean, come on. Let's not confuse everyone here. M-O-M sounds like mom. Like I call my mom Mama. That's M-A-M-A. It's real fucking simple.
I say mum.
M-U-M. You say M-U-M. Is that right?
No, I call her mom. Okay, hold on. I gotta pause and get my laughter over here. Hey mom, what's shaking? Yeah, I guess it sounds like mum. M-U-M. I guess it does sound like him. Yeah, I guess it does sound like mum. Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're on the same page here. Because it's very important you and I are in sync. You know what I mean?
So, hey mom, are you in the garage, Johnny? The garage? There. Yeah.
But I love what you're saying, brother. We don't an app to tell you to fucking walk is kind of retarded. I gotta send this clip to my mom today. And mom, I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to dig on you, mom, because mom that's like a nickname. That's a wonderful nickname. But when it comes down to it, you just little habit stack, brush your teeth and go for that walk, and then you can tell that app that you've already got it handled.
I do want to get into the Peter Attia's Centenarian Decathlon. We're going to talk about it throughout the show, but it's going to teach you how to live to 100. And Johnny, here's so for all the longevity experts that are out there, I had one in the lab a couple months ago, had a big conversation with them. They keep giving us the same thing we keep giving everybody, Johnny. And they're charging millions of dollars for people. Roofie, they're charging millions of dollars to teach you one thing. Johnny, go to sleep. That's it.
Brother. Just if you look at a TRT clinic, these fuckers are, some of them charge like, I know people who have paid $2,500 just to be on their fucking roster. And then they're giving out the most fucking terrible information. They're giving out like information that anybody who's actually done what they're doing knows is completely wrong. But it's people. I mean, if someone will pay for it, that's what they're going to charge.
Hey, Johnny, I know.
Well, in this case, because you actually know because you take action with your I knows. You're a little different I knower. You don't have an application issue like everybody else.
Does Marty know? Hey, Marty, I know. Yeah, Marty's getting his audio sorted out there. We were having dinner last night and I was cracking a joke with the gang saying, yeah, I know. And then everybody right out of the blue, everybody's face. What's going on, Marty? How are you, brother? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You got a new view behind you. What did you put some art behind you or what?
I told you I was moving last
week. You're in your new spot now, are you?
Nah, this is actually mom's place. My spot ain't ready till August or September, so I'm at mom's house for.
Oh well, that's
fun. We're just talking about mums. Yes. How do you spell mom, Marty? We had a big debate about this before you got on.
M-O-M.
Thank you. And how do you say it?
Mom.
Thank you.
Mom.
This is like we're like cracking the fucking codes here because Keith was telling this story. He's like, yeah, my mom, she got this app and my mom. And I was like, okay, let's just so everybody understands. How do you spell mum? And he goes, M-O-M. I said, come on, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Keith butchers a lot of words, man. We just don't say anything, man. We just don't say anything.
I'm just a Canadian young man over here. Speaking of a Canadian, so we got Saam Golgoon joining us here in a minute. Jimmy, let's do the accountability check and let's come back with our guest. Before we do that, we got some comments coming in. We got Rick Clody joining us on the show this morning. Time for another great loop with my friend Joe Keith, our handsome chief. Yes, Joe. What the hell is Joe?
I guess we just spelling everything wrong today.
Clody, what's going on? Oh, speaking of, you guys want to join the show here today? 431-300-3005. Hey, Clody, why don't you phone us and tell us what Joe Keith means? 431-300-3005. We got Matt Roof in the comments. Coming up next Monday, Roofy's Kindness Rising, the brand new morning show kickoff starter to help you guys get started before we get this train wreck going at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Next Monday, Matt Roof is getting after. Jimmy, let's do the check-in and let's come back with our guests. Let's do it, brother.
I am capable. I am strong. I will achieve my goals. Today is a new day.
Go. Hey, are you making the same promises year after year, but you're still stuck in the same place you were 5 years ago? Well, that was me. Yep, that's a true story. Every January, every Monday, every fresh start, I told myself, this is it. I'm changing everything. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to train harder. I'm going to fix the morning routine. I'm going to live like an elite athlete. But then years ago, every time I try to overhaul my life in one go, I'd be like, okay, I'm doing it all right now. And then I'd end up right back where I started because I realized I couldn't do 10,000 things at once. Here's what I learned the hard way. That the real transformation doesn't come from stacking thousands of new habits overnight. No, it doesn't work. It comes from committing to one change at a time. Maybe it's ditching the snooze button, those 9 minutes that'll kick your ass. Maybe it's drinking a glass of water first thing or morning meditation. If you commit to that one thing consistently, guys, imagine what your life could look like after a year. One thing every single day, one thing every single week. Imagine that progress. So guys, I invite you to do something today. Pick one thing, stay with it, win it. And then once you're confident with that habit, stack the next small change on top of it. I guarantee you 5 years from now, you're going to want to be the guy who looks back at that track record and you say to yourself, wow, I had a big transformation. Not the guy who says, oh my God, this is the year I'm going to get after it one more time. Stuck on saying, yeah, I know. So ask yourself, as you're getting after it today, brand new month coming up around the corner in a few days, where are you going to be in 5 years? Or where are you going to be in 6 months? Because that decision starts right now. This morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. I see you, Lady Drew. What's going on? Lady Drew coming at us every single day. One of our big supporters in the community. One of the OGs for sure. And Adam Holroyd as well. All right, Jimmy, I see your comment. Saam Golgoon coming up in a few minutes. He's figuring out the tech. Carter, I think he's figuring out how to read the IKEA instructions. It's kind of a thing we got going on here in the lab. We have those that figure out how to read the IKEA instructions and those that still want to learn how to read the IKEA instructions. While we're doing that, Jimmy, while Sam's figuring it out, let's jump into how to train for the 100, the decathlon you didn't even know you were entering. Jimmy, let's run the clip. Let's bring the boys in and we'll keep the show going, brother.
Think you're training for your next PR? What if the most important race is 50 years away? While you're chasing beach muscles, your future self is begging you to train for something bigger. The ability to tie your shoes at 85, pick up your grandchild at 90. Dr. Peter Attia's Centenarian Decathlon isn't about looking good. It's about living independently in your final decade. 4 pillars: stability, strength, aerobic base, and anaerobic power. The difference between thriving and surviving.
Peter Attia Centenarian Decathlon of revolution to fitness that's not about aesthetics, about independence, thriving in your best final decades of life. And guys, what the hell was that, Johnny?
And Marty dropped his microphone. He was digging it off the ground. It must have been scraping it across the ground with that sound we were hearing.
Sorry about that. I got a new setup, man. I'm getting used to it. Sorry, guys.
Actually, Johnny, I thought that would have been Marty dropping his package like that gentleman that was running last week in that track and field race that his package fell out of his parents. Marty, did you hear about
If
that?
his package
Oh, I
making
saw
that,
that,
his
actually.
package
Yeah, I
making
saw
that
that.
sound, it ain't falling anywhere. It's standing up.
Marty, did you hear about that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, so we were talking about it on Friday when AJ was in the lobby. We were having some laughter. This dude running down the track there, and all of a sudden he's got his penis falling out. He's holding it there. He's just holding it there. And then we juxtaposed it, Marty, with the fellow that did what was it, Johnny? The high jump? Yeah, what's the pole vault? The pole vault. Is that what it is? Is it pole vault?
Yeah, no, it was the pole vault. Yeah,
Pole vault. And Marty, his pecker got stuck on the pole vault.
Whoa.
Yeah. He had a big erection and pole vault went over and it got stuck. Clody, 431-300-3005. They get you into the Mornings in the Lab hotline, 431-300-3005. But guys, while Cody's doing that, let's talk about Peter Attia Centenarian Decathlon. And guys, this isn't about looking good for Instagram. It's about bending down to tie your shoes at 85, picking up your grandchildren at 90, and hiking a mile at 100. Attia has put together this set of 10 real-life tasks, Johnny and Marty, that you want to be able to do in your final decade. And these are aspirational tasks, but I believe, and I know, Johnny, you and Marty, you would believe this as well, if we focus on these little habits every single day, we are inevitably going to be able to do these things. Let's talk about them throughout the show here today, guys.
I have one little interesting thing here to put on the table before
Please do.
So it sounds like you want to be able to put on your shoes with, what was it? Put your shoes on with one foot. What was it?
Like when you're 85, when you want to be able to do, or
so there's this list of shit that you want to do when you're 85 or 100, right?
Yeah.
So here's a thought. Don't stop doing those things.
Well, some people might not even be doing them today, though, Johnny. That's kind of that may be.
But that's the whole fuck. So get this shit back and keep it.
Oh, hold on. I think we have the Mornings in the Lab hotline ringing right now. Let's see who's on the line here. Good morning. This is Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Good morning. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends.
Hello, is this Keith? This is Rick Clody, brother.
This is Rick Clody joining the show this morning. Keith, Johnny, and Marty, what's going on, Clody? How are you, brother?
And I'm up, with you guys, Mornings in the Lab, man, getting fired up, about to take another loop with you.
That's well, I'm glad you can get another loop and not another dump with us, because Johnny takes enough dumps for all of us combined here. So I'm glad you're getting up to do the loop with us this morning, Clody. Clody, what's the freaking GEAUX? What does that mean?
Well, first of all, you're blowing my mind, dude, because you're a Canadian. So EAUX, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, but I grew up in New Orleans, South Louisiana, where we have that Acadiana French culture.
Yes.
So EAUX is pronounced O, like Arsenault, Boudreaux, Thibodeau.
That's French, isn't it?
GAUX is go. So my LSU Tigers, who won the baseball national championship in Alma recently, they say go Tigers, and it's spelled GEAUX with the French pronunciation, the Canadian French.
So it's funny you're calling it about pronunciations today, because I've been getting Canadian razzed about my pronunciation of mum. Cody.
Mum. I heard John saying mom. I call my mom Mom, M-A, Mom.
Oh,
Me too.
Oh, you guys are ma's, eh? Yeah, so I've always been a mum.
Hey, Mom.
Well, I'm a mama. I just put two of those together. But the difference is that what we say and what we spell are the same.
Imagine Johnny, big strong guy saying "mama." That's hilarious.
Every time.
Yeah,
every time.
I love it.
Hey, mama, how are you, mama?
I love it.
How about mommy? Hey, mommy.
When I was 5 years old,
I never really got a hold of that one.
Rick Clody joining us this morning on the Mornings in the Lab hotline, joining us all the way from Nashville. He's a guest of the show. He's a brother of the show. He's alumni of the show. Hey, Clody, since you're on the show, brother, give us 30 seconds. Promote yourself, promote what you're up to, and tell us all what you are up to these days, my friend.
Yeah, man, just trying to keep it between the ditches. I'm an executive recruiter, also compensation expert, and always trying to get better, man, trying to sharpen that saw. Abraham Lincoln was asked if he was given 4 or 5 days to chop down a tree. He would spend the first 2 or 3 days just sharpening his axe. So one of the things I do regularly, Keith, and part of my day, it starts with you guys, I get with great men, great leaders, people who inspire me to do better. because together we all get better. That's the definition of team, man.
Yes.
Together, each achieves more. And being with great people like you guys, it just helps. It lifts my energy. So part of what I do, I've got a couple of gifts, teaching and encouraging. I've got the gift of encouragement, brother.
Yeah.
This world needs encouragement.
Yes.
That's part of what your mission is at Friends in the Lab and the mornings in the lab. You guys encourage people who need that. And sometimes if you can't get with guys, you got to encourage yourself. You know, in the Bible, David said he was down and he encouraged himself. And I said, yep, sometimes I have to do that, but it's always better with other people. So, man, I encourage you guys to keep doing what you're doing because it matters. We appreciate it out here. I know I speak for a lot of people, but when you can encourage other people, here's the secret, guys. When you, and you know, because y'all are doing it every day.
Yes.
When you encourage other people and lift them up and help them get to a better place, it does the same to you. It comes back to you, man. And so that's what floats my boat. That's what gets me up in the morning. That's what gets my juices flowing. And so I just want to say thank you. I'm grateful for you guys. Keep on keeping on because it matters.
Rick Clody, you're so kind. You're so kind, my
Thanks,
friend.
Clody.
Johnny, any comments for Clody, our brother from another mother who hangs out with us every single day. He's so kind. Johnny, Marty?
Keep kicking ass, brother. That's what it's all about.
We got Jason Brophy joining us from Alberta right now as well. Good morning, gentlemen. Hope all's well. Keith, Johnny, and crew joining us from Alberta. Hey, Clody, it's a long week for you down there in the States this week. I'm not asking Johnny and Marty this. I'm asking you. Are you working today, taking a day off? Is it a light week for you, or are you just getting after it every single day?
Yeah, you know, I'll be working probably 3 or 4 days this week. I don't know if you know this, but Nashville, Tennessee has probably the biggest fireworks show in America for both New Year's, but 4th of July is crazy. So, you know, they call it Music City. And I thought, it's a bunch of, fiddlers and pickers and just going to be guys crying in their beer about losing their job and truck and girlfriend and house. But no, every kind of great musician in the world comes here and plays. And the fireworks are nuts, dude. So we may go check the fireworks out this weekend.
That's fiddlers and pickers in Nashville. It's something that just doesn't turn Clody's crank, it seems
Kicking
like.
and grinning, brother. Kicking and grinning. I'm a trumpet player,
Oh, you're a trumpet player. Oh, hey, that's pretty cool. You should come play trumpet for us sometime on the show.
Dude, I will play for you, man. My dad used to play jazz on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. He played with Al Hurt and Pete Fountain, a bunch of jazz guys. So I love it.
Well, I think you're going to enjoy our next guest coming up, Saam Golgoon. He launched Indie Music Alliance, a digital platform connecting independent musicians with industry professionals. We got Sam coming up in a second. We got Clody on the line. Jimmy, we're going to walk Clody out of here. We're going to do the See Marty Fit Tip, and then we're going to bring Saam Golgoon into the show here. Rick, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you phoning in, 431-300-3005, the morning hotline. Rick is one of our callers. Rick, I appreciate you, brother. Lots of love to you, and I appreciate you hanging out and joining the show every single day.
Thanks, Keith. Take care, brother.
All right.
See you, brother.
All right, Rick's going to get out of here. Jimmy, we're going to do the Fit Tip. We're going to come back with Saam Golgoon. He founded the World Music Development, a nonprofit promoting global unity through music. Let's get after what's Fit Tip with Christopher Martin. See Marty Fit.
Let's get it, man. Let's do it. All right, we good to go? Can y'all hear me? All right, sorry, I got a new setup, so bear with me, everyone. But listen, stop trying to get results, but you want to skip the work. How does that even make sense? You want to look for the latest shortcut. You want to try to do things quickly. You want to go to the gym 7 days straight. Then you're so sore, you can't make it on the 8th day. Relax. Just like Johnny said a couple weeks ago, he reads 1 page a day. Start with something small. Start with something simple, something you can stick with, something you can stay consistent with, something that's going to keep you disciplined. But trying to hit the home run on your first day at the gym, that's not sustainable. And it damn sure not going to bring you results. All right. So you can't half-ass the work. You can't half-ass the effort and expect to be where you want to be. So whoever you emulate, whoever you want to be like, whoever you look up to, right? Whoever that fit person is you strive to be like, it could be your friend, coworker, Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is probably a crazy example. None of them half-ass the work. So why do you think that you can do it? Is it difficult? Yes. Is it going to take longer than you probably wanted to take? Probably. Absolutely. But there aren't any skipping steps. Do the work, get the result. 2 + 2 is 4. That's the fitness tip for for today.
From the war-torn streets of Iran to the mayor's office in Colorado, Saam Golgoon's journey defies every expectation. A former firefighter and emergency responder, Saam didn't just save lives, he saved an entire industry. When the music world needed a bridge between independent artists and opportunity, Saam built it himself. He created Indie Music Alliance, a platform connecting musicians directly to industry professionals. From producing major festivals to earning the Visionaries Award, discover how Saam Golgoon is revolutionizing independent music.
Hey, we're joined by Saam Golgoon, a man whose resume reads like a novel, from firefighting and serving as mayor to producing music festivals and launching a groundbreaking platform for indie artists. Saam's journey is nothing short of inspiring. We're going to dive into his story, explore how he's empowering musicians through Indie Music Alliance, and discover what drives his passion for community and creativity. Let's bring him up, boys. Let's bring him in. Saam Golgoon into Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends.
Hey. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Keith. Good morning, Marty.
What's going on?
Everyone doing today?
How you doing?
How are you, Saam? You good?
Wonderful. Doing good. Yeah, I was about to hop back on how to pronounce my name also, which now we're getting, because it goes right with the mum thing or the mom thing that we were talking about. You guys were talking about earlier. So how do you pronounce my name? You know? Yeah. Why has it got 2 extra A's? You know? Damn it. I get that all the time. Why does your name have to
Same.
Is it
Same?
I've had all the different ones, you know? Well, let me tell you, you know, there's this car out there that's spelled S-A-A-B. How do you pronounce that car?
Saab.
Yeah, so that's how my name is pronounced. Saam.
Saam.
Like mom.
Like
the way
mom.
you pronounce mom the right way. Yeah, exactly.
There you go. There you go. Saam, where are you joining us from today, brother?
From this beautiful little town at the top of the world called Alma, Colorado. Alma, Colorado, south of Breckenridge, and it's so small you can piss across it. If you blink, you'll miss it when you're driving through town.
You were the former mayor of Alma, Colorado. Tell us about being a mayor.
I sure am. Yeah, well, it was fun being the mayor of the highest town in North America. We are. That's our claim to fame in this town.
So hold on, highest as in the highest after smoking, highest in elevation, or the highest after smoking tons of cannabis?
Both. How about that?
Good question.
Both ways. You
Good question.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When the legalization happened over here, our town is 300 people. We ended up with 3 dispensaries in our little town. We said we had a lot of sick people. So yeah, we have more dispensaries in our town than per capita than anywhere in this country. So we're high every way you look at it. Elevation, life, attitude, all of it.
We got some comments coming up. Rick, we got B Drive Bernard coming in. I like this guy. Saam's mom is married to Tom from Rick Clody coming in this morning, and Rick Clody sending you some hellos there, Saam, as well. So, Saam, you've worn many hats: firefighter, mayor, musician, developer. Dude, you're like Jon Andersen, man. You just keep changing how do you manage these diverse roles? You just keep changing.
You know, I don't know, man. I'm just crazy enough to do it. You know, my mother-in-law tells me, she's like, you're a true Renaissance man. Is there something you don't do? So
You know what it is, brother? You just fucking, when you see something that looks good, you fucking do it.
Exactly.
It's so simple. This looks interesting. I want to go do this now.
Yep, absolutely. And if you look at all of those stuff, I love giving back to my community, man. All of them has been giving back, you know? And that's made my life better.
Yeah, no kidding. Speaking of giving back, so before diving into the music industry, Sam, you served as a firefighter, a medic, and a search and rescue dog handler. You've spent a lot of your time serving.
Yeah.
Was that something that was taught to you, something you've driven your whole life, or how you know what brings you as a man of service, Sam?
You know, when I moved over here, everybody looked at me being a terrorist, being from Iran. I said, you know, I need to change their minds. I'm going to show them I'm not, you know, I'm here to help out. Really, that drove me to show Americans I'm a decent person. I'm a good human being. So my life became service, you know.
So let's talk about that. So you were born in Iran. I'm intrigued by your comments you just made here. You were born in Iran. You experienced the Iran-Iraq war, and it's not lost upon me that we're living in a world right now where Iran has just been at war here recently in the last couple of weeks. And you immigrated to the U.S. at 15.
Yes.
Mom and dad just packed up and said, we're heading to America. Talk to us a little bit about that experience immigrating to the United States.
I wish it was that easy, you know. So back then in Iran, when the war was going on, there was this law that if you were a male of age 15, you weren't allowed to leave the country until you served in the military. And then they say military service back then was 91 days, 90 days in boot camp, first day on the front lines, and then you're dead, you know. There was another way to get out of military service, and that was to get into the national university, and there was a national exam that happened, but only like the top 1% of people in that exam would get into a university. Well, my older brother did. My parents didn't have that faith in me that I would be part of the 1% to be able to pass that exam at the top.
Been there, done that, brother. I know what that was like.
Yeah, so they shipped me out of the country,
far behind,
you know? Yeah, and we had the opportunity. They said, yeah, let's get him the fuck out of the country before he turns 15 years old. So they shipped me over to Turkey, to Istanbul. Well, when I was 13, we tried to come over to U.S. and getting a regular visa. I remember, man, I was there with my dad in the U.S. consulate in the embassy sitting and doing an interview. And they didn't give us a regular visa because we have a bunch of family over here. Family had money over here. And they interviewed, they asked us, they're like, well, when you go over there, are you going to leave? And my dad is a very honest man. He goes, no, we're not. We're planning on immigrating there. Well, they sent us back to Iran and they said, hey, this is the way you do it. We had to deal with like immigration attorneys. But anyway, yeah, they shipped me out to Turkey. I lived between Turkey and Romania for about a year till all of our residency and green card paperwork got done. And then we got here. But man, that was an interesting experience that I can freaking write a book about, because we were staying in Istanbul, but we were doing all of our embassy paperwork out of the Bucharest embassy in Romania. And then we had to travel with bus. And back then, man, in the late 80s, in that 87, 88 time, communism was still going on. The wall hadn't fallen yet. And what an experience that was to travel through these borders back then, and especially when we got our paperwork from the U.S. Embassy, we had to bring it back to Turkey. Imagine going through these communist borders and you have documents with the American seal on it, and that shit couldn't get opened up till we landed on U.S. soil, or we would have been sent right back if that shit was tampered with. So we had to travel with like a bunch of Turkish smugglers to learn how to get our documents through those borders, how to bribe these guys at the border checks and everything to get our paperwork through. So that's a little bit of the journey. So no, it wasn't, hey, buy a plane ticket, hop on the plane and come over to US. I wish it was that easy. It was a little bit more complicated than that. But I'm so freaking happy that we were able to do it. And I've been here, gosh, now, 35, almost 40 years now,
Yeah, Saam Golgoon joining us. So we got some comments from the community. Jason Brophy saying, weird Americans misjudge someone. Yeah, weird. And fit presenter Mike McQuillan coming in saying, Iranian wrestling fans are the greatest sports fans in the world. And then Bernard coming in with, one of my favorite customers in construction was a little old gentleman from Iran. And he had rentals I worked on for him. The inspector always messed with him, but I did the work, so it was right, and they had to sign him off. And then Brophy coming in making a comment about Johnny here. And then Bernard come back with that book would sell, because from an American's perspective, we don't get the full picture of the work it takes to achieve and wonder why we get outworked. I get that happening as well. And then, of course, we got Rick Cody coming in. America is a melting pot, and I'm glad about it. Saam, what was so you got yourself settled in America, and you made a comment. You said to myself, John and Marty, that you worked hard to convince the Americans that you weren't a terrorist.
He's not here, bro.
He took Saam off. Oh,
where'd he go?
I don't know. That's why I'm wondering you're sitting there fucking talking to him, but he's not here. Jesus Christ, man. What you got behind those fucking glasses? You got some. Can you not fucking say? Jesus Christ. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? This guy's fucking lost his marbles.
What are you looking at on the show, Keith? What are you looking at?
Is he looking at the comments over here?
I was like, fuck, maybe he's still on the horizontal. I'm on the vertical. And then flipped over there. He's gone there too. He's just fucking talking to a wall.
John and Marty,
something was wrong with my internet, man.
John and Marty and our mysterious guest, Saam Golgoon. He's gone back to Iran. Oh, so here's what happened. Remember, Johnny, I was talking about
crazy.
Remember, Johnny, I was telling you about doxing people who when you're streaming live, they might come and find you. Somebody went and found Saam Golgoon because he's from Iran. He's on our show, and they went and fucking took him. They went and got him.
What were you saying about live streaming? They can follow the
Cool.
stream and find out where you are.
Well, yeah. So remember, I was telling you about doxing, Johnny. Where doxing's this idea where somebody could call the like the FBI or the NSA and say, "Hey, Jon Andersen is here. He's doing all these bad things." And they would show up at your house when you're on the live stream, and they'd fucking break your doors down. And you're like, "What the fuck's going on?" And you're like, "Oh," and then so it's this idea
because they can figure out where you are based on the live stream.
Well, it's this idea of calling in doxing. This idea of doing it while you're live and having the
Can hackers figure this shit out too?
No, I think just the authorities is what I'm suspecting is what it is.
Well, good, because fuck, man, these son of a bitches are after me lately. I can't leave any fucking doors open.
Is this the Gong Show? Yeah, this is the Gong Show. Hey, Jimmy, let's do this while Sam is trying to figure out his tech here. Why don't we do the lifestyle tip with Jon Andersen, and then we'll come back. Jimmy, I can see what it's Jimmy's enlightening comments. All black there. Yes, Jimmy, I can see the black camera.
And
after I'm done, cut me loose for a quick second.
We will do that.
Oh, and real quick, I didn't get to tell y'all this is where I'm going to be because my new spot isn't as close to the gym I train at.
Yes.
So I'm going to be doing a pit stop at Mom's house for the show from now on for the time.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So and then eventually, Marty, we will get Mom to sit in when you're absent. We'll have. Oh, I'm sorry, not Mom. Mom.
Yeah, I say Mom doesn't reside there.
I just tried to get her to come on. She said no.
Get me the hell out of here, Jimmy.
Not ready yet.
Get the two handsome guys off the screen, Keith and Marty, and leave the other guy up there so he can do his segment.
A little nutty son of a bitch. Never ceases to amaze me. All right. We're going to keep it simple. If you're an American, you got this big holiday coming around the corner. And many of you guys are already planning not to do your shit. Here's the thing. Let's not look at this as an opportunity not to do. Let's look at this as an opportunity to do, but maybe just do a little less. And what I mean by that is keep your groove intact. Instead of not going to the gym at all, maybe just go for walks around the house. Maybe you got family in town. That's what I got. I will stay on my groove. My groove will just be tightened up. It will be more efficient. Now remember, because once you fall out of your groove, the part that you have to remember about that is you have to get back in it. And that seems to be a huge problem for most people. The first step is usually the hardest. So when you stop taking your steps, so to speak, you have to take the first step all over again. So keep stepping. Just step a little slower, step a little less, but don't stop stepping. It all comes down to a mindset. Mindset is everything. If your mental framework is in check, everything else will follow. This is what I do. I work with primarily business owners about reframing their minds so that they can get what they want from their business and their lives. They can level up in all area of their lives. So keep it simple. This set of holidays coming at us, or this holiday coming at us, keep stepping. Whatever you do, don't stop. Rock and roll.
All right. I just can't stop laughing right now. Johnny, I love how you started that clip off. What was it? Some of you guys aren't fucking doing anything anyways, so. So you might as well get him to do something on the holiday break because you're just fucking lazy anyway. So
I don't think I said that. Did I say that, Mark?
no, you didn't. But just the way that it came out was very much.
That's
like,
what I heard.
Yeah,
That's what I heard, Keith. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Well, I mean, listen. I mean, I'm going to be honest, you know, and unfortunately, there's a lot of motherfuckers out there that are just choosing not to step.
Hey, download the app that tells you to walk. Gladys.
Yeah, download Mum's app that tells you to walk. That will help a lot.
Gladys.
Hey, Jimmy, get me off the screen for a minute, damn it.
Yeah. I'm out of here too. I'll see y'all tomorrow, man.
Marty.
Saam, nice to meet you.
Marty, we'll see you later, bro.
Marty.
Marty, say hi to Mum for me.
I will. I got you.
All right, Marty's going to get out of here. We're back with Saam Golgoon. He negotiated his release from ICE. He was grabbed a few moments ago from. Now he's tugging on his vape there in Alma, loaded with some great sativa at 5:49 a.m. Jesus.
That's a good one. Yeah. You know, it's interesting how as soon as I said that, that feed got cut off. They're like, cut this guy off. Don't have him say shit anymore, you know? Yeah.
Saam Golgoon, the indie music artist who's running from the government from Iran here today. Having a lot of fun, man. Having a lot of fun on the show. So, dude, I got to ask the question about being Clody, I'll have what you guys are having. Yeah. Is cannabis legal in Tennessee? I don't know if it is, actually. They should if it's not. So, dude, how do you become a mayor of Alma? Like you wake up and you're like, hey, Mom and Dad, I'm going to be
wanted to do it.
That was the only reason, right? Nobody else wanted. Oh, so that's how you want.
Nobody else wanted to do it, basically. Man, there's mountain towns that they have like dogs or donkeys as mayors, literally, you know? So, you know, I was able to beat the dog or the donkey in this town, basically, to become mayor, you know? So
tell me about that journey to become mayor. So I want to try to be serious for a moment.
All right. Okay, serious for a moment. Got it.
What was that experience like, though? So, I'm a big fan of those moments behind the moment. A, how did you decide to become the mayor? B, like, was it just like a revelation where you just fucking smoke a blunt one day, like, hey, I'm going to become the mayor? You fucking all blasted and become the mayor? Or like, what was the journey to become the mayor?
Well, it was a 10-year journey, actually, to be on the town council. You know, years ago, I decided to get on the town council. Why? Because, you know, I'm not a type of person to like to bitch about things. If I don't like things around me, I see that, unfortunately, a lot. A lot of people, we just like to freaking complain about things, you know? I decided to get involved. I decided to run for office and actually got my citizenship specifically to run for office. And that was to just get on the town council as like a council member, trustee.
Was that an easier way to get your citizenship?
No, because it had nothing to do with that. You know, I couldn't even apply to run for office until I had my citizenship because I had to be a registered voter. So, you know, with a green card, you could do anything any American can with the exception of two things. One is to vote, and then the other one is to run for office. So I had to get my citizenship to be able to register to vote to then run for office and get on the town council. And so, yeah, I did that because I was seeing things around my neighborhood, around my town, that it wasn't exactly the way I wanted to see it. You know, we hear this cliche of the only constant in life is change, you know, that's the only consistent thing. Yeah. Well, I've also learned throughout my life, there's two ways to deal with change. One is to sit on the sidelines and let the change roll over you, or get involved with the change and make the change happen the way you want to see the change happen. So, yeah, I got on the town council. I was on the council.
Change is fucking magic, baby.
Oh, man, I love change. I'm actually going through big changes right now, which I'm loving. But, you know, and I went then from 2 years of being a council member. Within a couple of years, I became mayor pro tem.
that's like vice mayor of the town. And I served as mayor pro tem for 8 years. And then when that term came up, I couldn't run as a regular council member, so I could continue and I could run for the office of, or the mayor seat, basically. So I ran for mayor. I won that election by one vote to become mayor in this tiny little town, you know? So
who was your contestant? Who was your competition?
My buddy.
Was it truly a fucking
Andrew
donkey, or was
Zimmer.
there a person there?
No, it was a real person. It wasn't a donkey. I didn't beat a donkey by one vote. I beat a person.
I was going to say that must have been one popular fucking donkey.
Well, some people call that guy a jackass, though. So, you know, it wasn't that much of a difference. So.
Well, you know, because every once in a while you got that fucking animal that everybody loves to feed and pet. You know, that fucker could be dangerous in an election race.
You know, I'm actually glad it was a human being. I probably would have lost to a donkey. Yeah.
We're hanging out with Saam Golgoon, myself, Keith Phillips, and Jon Andersen here this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Sam, we got some questions from the community for you. This is a good one from Brophy, actually. Great question from Brophy, which is, Sam, are you nervous about Trump? And we don't, listen, this is not about politics, just really a curious question. Are you nervous about Trump and the ICE raids, even with citizenship? He doesn't care about birthright, let alone green cards. Is that a thing for you there, Saam? Are you nervous about that, or is that as much a media-made issue, Saam?
You know, I'm not gonna lie and say I'm not. I don't like to use the word worry. You know, worry is a great waste of imagination. I'm aware. I'm aware of what's around me.
Yes.
I'm aware of the world I live in, and I don't lie to myself about it. So I'll tell you this, man, when I leave my house now, and it's been for months, I carry my American passport with me, not my fucking driver's license. I have my American passport with me just in case, you know, because I know what the reality of life is. But I'm not going to be afraid and go, well, I'm not leaving my fucking house. I'm not doing thing. Worry is not a way to live life for me, you know? No. So I'm prepared. And the other thing I tell my American friend, I was like, you know, I came from a part of the world we had to carry papers. You know, I was used to carrying, you know, some people, oh, we got to start carrying our papers. I tell some of my American friends, get used to it. Start carrying papers. So what, you know? So for me, it's not a big deal. But I know to some Americans, what? You carry your passport with you? It's like, well, you.
Yeah, Americans just love to fucking bitch. It doesn't make a difference what you fucking ask them to do. They're going to bitch about it.
Exactly. You said it.
I like your statement about worry is a wasteful time of what? Imagination. I like that.
Worry is a great waste of imagination. I didn't say that. I wish I was a genius to say that. Albert Einstein said that.
Yeah, I have never heard that before. I like that because when you're using your brain, when you're worrying, Johnny, you talk about it often about stress, right? You can't be happy and what is it, stress at the same time. And
yeah, your brain doesn't have the ability to feel anxiety and gratitude at the same time. So you have complete control. You could turn off that fucking stress spigot anytime you choose with a few thoughts of gratitude.
Yeah. That's fascinating. So, hey, Saam, let's move into indie music. So you go from being a mayor, firefighting, all these different hats in life, and then you end up in the indie music scene, the Indie Music Alliance. Saam, how do you get there? Talk a little bit about the indie music industry and you know the world we're living in today, which is music is going through a massive change with AI generated content, the culture changing, pop culture changing. Talk about the power of indie music today, Saam.
Absolutely. Yeah. So actually, you know, music has to do a lot with my story that I shared earlier, because when I lived in Iran, my dad introduced me to music at a young age, myself and my older brother. And I didn't realize what an escape that was. You know, I played the piano and the keyboards and everything when I was younger. And when I moved over to US, I became friends with musicians really quickly. And then next thing I know, I'm playing in a band, you know, right after high school or towards the, you know, my senior year in high school. And these buddies of mine, man, when you read my bio, said the makeup of the band that we had sounded like a joke. It was 3 Jews, 2 Muslims, a Christian, and an atheist. And we were back in Dallas and we played in Deep Ellum all the time. in Dallas area. That experience and these guys to this day are my best friends. We're still in contact. We get together even every 5 to 10 years and do a reunion show. So back then, that really made me realize, this cliche that we hear about power of music, what is the power of music? Well, to me, the power of music became, wow, it's able to unite people. I'm here with these guys that I can relate with and actually connect with so well that where I was growing up, what my government was telling me was, these are your enemies. These are people you're supposed to kill, I was like, these are my freaking best friend. What the fuck are you guys talking about, And so that's why music became so important to me. And I continued playing music. I changed instruments. I'm a percussionist. I play congas and hand drums and the drum kit. I like banging on things more than playing the keyboard. So that was, a lot more fun. So yeah, next thing you know, I'm playing in all these bands. And then when I, in Colorado, this festival came around our town. And I had gotten into the business side of things a little bit, booking my bands, and because nobody else in the band wanted to do it, nobody had the business skills. Our band lead guy back then, the band I was with, didn't have a good reputation in our community. We're in a small mountain community. Everybody kind of knows everybody. And they would hear his name. They're like, nope, we're not going to book you guys. So I really learned how to negotiate deals early on, getting on the business side of it. And then I find myself in the music festival circus as far as producing and putting on music festivals. We had this festival, the area I live in, actually, and you get a kick out of this, we're in the real South Park, Colorado. So I'm actually talking to you from real South Park, Colorado right now. So we did this festival called South Park Music Festival. And I got the role as the showcase and production director. There's actually an episode of South Park about this freaking festival. I'm in a South Park episode. It's the one that they hire Cartman to get rid of all the hippies in South Park. And they said, well, how do you get rid of hippies? They said, play heavy metal. So they played Slayer and every hippie's heads was fucking blowing off. And so, yeah, that was my festival I was involved with. And that's how I got into the music side. And then the music the festivals that I was involved with and doing always had a conference aspect to it, a music industry conference. So it was like really small, mini, like South by Southwest style events that we were putting on. And through those, I learned a lot, in these conferences, in these discussion panels about the challenges and the struggles that independent musicians face. And then also, why did I start World Music Development? Well, I wanted to give back to the community. I didn't want to just put festivals on for the sake of having festivals. I wanted to have a purpose to it, a little bit more than, hey, we're just here to have a good time. So through World Music Development, we would raise funds that then we would distribute those to causes that dealt with what we call the 5 pillars of peace, which is education, housing, nutrition, healthcare, and economic development. In my travels, in my experiences in life, where I saw peaceful communities or more peaceful.
Hey, fellas, here's a quick life lesson from AI Keith. A good conversation is like a tennis game. You pass that fucking ball the whole time. Back and forth, back and forth.
And what can I answer for you? Next thing I know, I'm developing a platform to basically help out all these musicians because they need help.
Saam Golgoon joining us from Alma, Colorado here this morning with Mornings Alive with Keith and Friends. My buddy Jon Andersen as well, hanging out with Saam here. Saam, we're going to do a quick wrap-up with you here. We got Jared Harman hanging out in the green room waiting for us. Saam, I got some rapid fire for you, brother. Favorite guilty pleasure TV show, my friend?
Better Call Saul, actually. Yeah.
Morning person or night owl?
As I'm aging, I'm becoming more and more a morning person. But boy, I do have the all-nighters sometimes too when I'm working and developing platforms. So I guess it depends, Today I'm a morning person.
Most embarrassing song you love?
Most embarrassing song I love. Oh gosh, that's a freaking tough one, man. I don't know. Most embarrassing song. Man, I gotta think about it. It's probably like it's probably Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again.
There you go. Oops, I did it again with Saam Golgoon. Go-to karaoke song. Would it be the same one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your dream collaboration song.
Karaoke song, yeah.
What's your go-to instrument? What's your go-to instrument when you need to blow up? What's your go-to instrument when you need to blow off some steam?
Congas. I play, the congas. Banging on the congas is the go-to instrument.
Nice. And Saam, where can folks connect with you?
They can connect with me on LinkedIn at LinkedIn/Saam Golgoon, or find me on my website at indiemusicalliance.net. You Google my name, man. There's nobody else with this name out there. Just Google my name, you'll find me. It's not hard to find me. I don't hide. I put myself very public on, and I made that easier for everybody, including the government. You want to see me? Here I am. You don't have to look for me hard, you know?
Saam Golgoon, the founder of, I'm just looking at his comments there. He's the founder of Indie Music Festival, joining us from Alma, Colorado here today, hanging out with us, puffing away, evading ice, having some fun this morning. Saam, dude, I'm appreciative you got up, you got your ass out of bed for us first thing this morning, hang out with us today. You're now part of the Mornings in Alive alumni. Would come back out? Would you come back and hang out again sometime?
Hell yeah, man. This was a lot of fun. It was a lot. And really appreciate you reaching out.
Awesome. Johnny, we'll say goodbye to Saam here today.
That's it, brother. Keep kicking ass, man.
Thanks, Johnny. Pleasure meeting you, brother.
Nice to meet you, too.
All right, we're going to get Saam out of here. Jimmy, we're going to reset hour 2. We got Jared Harman coming up here in about 10 minutes or so. But before we do that, we're going to get into the deep dive, your morning blueprint, design a day you dominate. Then we're going to keep the show going with Jared Harman, and we're going to come back and talk about Peter Attia Centenarian 100. Jimmy, let's run the deep dive, brother.
Ready to go below the obvious? Most men survive their mornings instead of mastering them, never realizing they're wasting the most powerful window of their day. Neuroscience reveals your brain is most adaptable in the first 90 minutes after waking. When habits hit hardest, momentum strongest. Unpacking morning routine mastery, we're moving from surface-level wake-up routines to the cellular science of cortisol optimization. This isn't about perfect rituals, it's about transforming those crucial first minutes into unstoppable momentum. Master your morning, watch the full deep dive.
Johnny, one of the things you talk about often on the show is that you say to me, why can't we talk about these things often if they're important? And one of those things we like to talk about often is the morning routine. And I don't think we can talk about it enough, especially when it's creating awareness for folks. And because here's the kicker. Neuroscience tells us that your brain is most adaptable in the first 90 minutes of your day. You get up and you get after first thing in the morning, and so do I. That means that your habits hit harder in the morning, so why waste that window? Let's take the next few minutes, brother, and talk a little bit about the blueprint that designs a day to dominate. We haven't actually gone here for the last. You and I have not gotten into this conversation. I'm having trouble spitting my words out this morning. We have not gotten into this conversation a lot lately in the last couple of months. You're a busy fellow. You're traveling active. You're traveling often. You're all over the place, building your businesses, creating content. Yet your morning routine is your non-negotiable. Let's talk a little bit about the power of your morning routine and how you have been adjusting it, Johnny, with this morning show.
So I think the main thing that people, of course, let's make it simple.
Yes.
It's pre-planning, right? I always, the night before is where it starts for me. And, depending on where I am, what I'm doing, it's always going to be a little bit different. And, like today, I needed more time to kind of gather myself in my silent time. And I'm pretty physically beat up, so I spent a little less time catching a sweat. So people think this morning routine is this overly rigid thing. Think of it like this. Plan the night before. What do you need to do to make sure that you get yourself in a really good place so that you can make sure that your day is good, if you can plan to have a good day, right? A couple of good days can turn into a good week. A couple of good weeks can turn into a good month. A couple of good months can turn into a good year. And I mean, a good year can fucking change a person's life. So look at it from the standpoint of where you're trying to go and break it down to the simplest format. Plan tonight for tomorrow. What are you going to do so that you continue to get ahead? Talking about all the details is great, but I think that fucks people up.
What I admire about you, Johnny, and I've witnessed it since I've been working with you for the last year or so, is your ability to transition and continue your routine, regardless if you're in Mexico, California, Nevada, hotel room. And I bring it up because it's not for everybody. And I'm one that struggles when I get out of my routine environment and I go into a new one. I find it takes me a few days to adapt the routine again. As somebody who's traveled extensively through your career, knowing the routine's the foundation of it, let's talk a little bit about how you're able to take that routine from a space and move it to the next space and continue. Because I know you take it as for granted as it's simple, Johnny. It's not for everybody because we get out of our environment and routines.
Well, it's because it's overcomplicated. It's overcomplicated. Let's look at the points that. So what I need in my morning.
Yeah.
Let's just strip it down to a few simple points. I need to frame my mind properly so that I'm getting in that good winning mindset.
Yes.
Right. That's going to be my writing.
Yes.
Takes me 5 fucking minutes tops. Right. I need to make sure that I eliminate the noise, which that's going to be some form of quiet time. And then I need to basically break a sweat to change my physiology. These are the 3 pieces that I need. And if I had to do it, I could do it in fucking 15 minutes. I could spend 5 minutes each on them if I had to. I wouldn't prefer that. But there's been plenty of times. What was it? I'm trying to think of baseball player, one of the best ever, Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah.
He talked about he had a pregame routine, and he did it every time. And he explained that sometimes that pregame routine got fucking whittled down to minutes, like single-digit minutes. When in a perfect world, I can't remember what the total thing was. If it was perfect world, it was hours. But he didn't miss. And that's what you got to focus on, is that distill it down, simplify it. What pieces of your morning, let's get rid of the word routine. It's like habit, it fucks people up. What do you need in the morning for you to be the best version of you? Sometimes people don't like that. What do you need in the morning to have a good day? Well, I need those 3 pieces. So I'm never going to miss those 3 pieces.
You know what I like about what you talked about, Johnny, is as I'm listening to you speak and you brought it back to Alex Rodriguez, we hear often in life professional athletes who know how to live like a pro and you think, so what do they mean living like a pro? Well, so sports, a hockey game's an hour. Baseball is, an hour, a couple hours. Football is an hour, a couple hours. But yet these guys got to live their lives for 22. Every day is a full day of life to work, to perform for 1 hour. When I listen to you talk about, and they're traveling all the time. So I guess the point I'm really trying to make here is that the quicker you can form that foundation of a routine wherever you are on the planet, the quicker you're going to have success with that routine. Living like a pro. Because if you're Alex Rodriguez, whether you're in Toronto, whether you're in Oakland, whether you're in Vegas playing baseball, that routine is following you around. To me, that's the difference between elite human beings, elite pros, and those that aren't elite.
Well, and I think when people hear routine, they get all fucked up on these certain little bits of I try to stay away from numbers. Numbers tend to fuck people up. From this time to this time, you got to do this. This time to this time, you got to do that. Well, God damn it. You start late, you're kind of screwed. Or maybe you're not in your environment, you're moving slow. What is it you need to get done? How much time do you have? And dedicate the time. It's just, I guess that's what, if I had a piece of advice for people wanting to do better with getting themselves into a better state every morning, is simplify it. Understand from a principle standpoint, what are the pieces of the puzzle that you need every day, and do those things. Just keep it simple.
And guys, my closing comment to this is not to sound all samer. It's just it's these concepts of creating awareness around these topics that sometimes we struggle with. And this is not about overhauling your entire life, right? It's about owning your morning, finding a habit that works, and then sticking to it. And then once you get that habit in place, adding a second one. The man who masters his morning doesn't just start strong, he finishes fulfilled. And then once you get into it, guys, it becomes a complete loop, right? This is your day. Design it, dominate it, distill it down to simplicity. And like I would say to my mom, Johnny, just go for a walk.
That's it. Go for a walk.
Just go for
a walk.
Walk.
Go a little further with that, though. We talk about hotel rooms and shit like this.
Yes.
So I'm not going to wake up in the morning and find my way through a new environment, right? So when I get to a hotel room, first thing I'm going to do is figure out where the exit is for the steps, the stairwell. I'm going to go check. Okay, here it is. So when I wake up in the morning, I know that, so I'm usually going to walk the stairwell. That's going to be my form of exercise in a hotel, right? But I don't just know that I'm going to do that. I actually go find the stairwell. So I've premeditated this stuff. So when you wake up, these decisions are already made. I'm going to wake up at this time. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And it's very, very simple. When you've already mentally planned it out, now your body just kind of carries it out.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Not thinking about it. Get up, get out.
You're just, you've already these decisions are made ahead of time.
Yes.
When you're trying to make the decisions on the fly, especially when that little voice in the morning is telling you, oh, you need another 15 minutes. These decisions need to be made before that can happen.
Guys, Keith Billis, Jon Andersen, Mornings Live with Keith and Friends. We've got Jared Harman joining us here in a couple of moments. Over 8 years leading the One Group Agency, a full-service marketing firm specializing in strategic brand development and digital advertising. But before we do that, a couple of things for you guys. Join the conversation through text, through voicemail, or through live conversation, 431-300-3005. Rick Clody joined us in the first hour. You guys can also join the conversation. It's like 1984. We got the phone lines open right now. Phone, voicemail, or text 431-300-3005. And of course, guys, I invite you to join the Mornings in the Lab community. It's right here on YouTube. It's free every single day. Just show up, hang out with the show. But if you want to get extra benefits like Holroyd and Lady Drew are getting, I invite you to pull out the credit card and join us for $3 a month, $15 a month. I think it's $20 a month. And no, it's not to buy Keith and Johnny new stogies or new packs of cannabis. It's about reinvesting back into the show. Jimmy, let's run the hook so we can bring in Jared Harman from Hockey Rinks to Marketing Rinks. Jared Harman's playbook for authentic branding is coming up in less than a minute. Jimmy, let's run it, pal.
From junior hockey arenas to the boardrooms of British Columbia, Jared Harman has mastered authentic transformation. For 15 years, he called strategic plays from the rink, managing game nights at Langley Event Center, and broadcasting BCHL This Week on TSN 1040. Today, as CEO of the One Group Agency, Jared believes true success isn't about flashy tactics. It's about integrity, authentic connections, and remembering every brand has a human story worth telling.
Hockey and cutting-edge marketing have in common? Well, according to Jared Harman, it's all about playing the long game with authenticity. From calling plays on the ice to crafting compelling brand narratives, Jared's journey is a masterclass in strategic pivots and genuine connections. Jimmy, let's bring him into the lab all the way from, I think, Langley, British Columbia. We got Jared Harman joining us this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. What's going on, Jared?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
What's up, brother?
How are you? Are you coming to us from BC today?
Yeah, right down by South Surrey, actually, right by the U.S. border. So I got the border traffic out in front of me, keeping me awake as the trucks fly by. But yeah, all good.
Well, listen, I appreciate you getting your ass out of bed this morning, first thing in the morning. We, when folks decide to do that, that's a compliment to us. So I got to ask, what are you, a morning guy, night guy? What's your morning routine like, Jared?
Yeah, morning guy for sure now. Definitely was a night guy for a long time. I grew up working in bars and restaurants, so it took a long time to adjust to corporate life, I guess. But yeah, I try to get up 5 o'clock every day, get going. I got 2 young kids at home too, so got to kick them out the door and get them moving as well. And Sorry, I got a puppy here playing around me. I got a new dog. He comes to the office with me, and he's running circles around me right now. But yeah, get up, get going, get the dogs out the door, and get to the office. I think the best time of day is that like 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. before everybody shows up at the office. I got some time to get some shit done and get prepared for the day. So
dude, I love it. I love it. So I got to tell you something, man. I was doing my research for the show here, and myself and John, we really pride ourselves in this idea of being, unapologetically ourselves, authentic human beings. When I'm looking at your content, you describe yourself as authentic more times than most people say synergy in a year. Dude, what's the most unfiltered, real moment you've had as a authentic leader, Jared Harman?
I don't know that there's one particular moment or instance. I think at the end of the day, like especially going out on my own and doing my own thing for the last almost 10 years, I've stopped trying to be someone else. I think for the most of my life and career, like I do prior to this, I've always got to wear the suit and tie and, have the look and try to fit in with everybody else's, expectations. And when I went out on my own, it was more about, okay, like, I'm going to be me because that's who, whether it's my clients, my staff, whoever, when they get to know me and us, that's what they're going to know. So why bullshit and pretend, to be something different? So I don't think there's one particular moment. I think, hey, sorry.
Is that the puppy?
I love it.
Yeah. What is he? What is he? What kind of puppy is he? Oh, there he is. Oh, he's a cool looking dog, man.
He's a rescue dog. We've got him had him for about a month now, but he's got a mind of his own, that's for sure. So, but he comes with me every day to the office. Sorry. From how we dress and that we try to translate that down to the team and just make sure that they know, like, at the end of the day, like, good or bad, being honest with our team and our clients is the most important thing.
Yeah, Bernard coming in. The most authentic leaders teach you to be better than they are at what they do. That's exactly it. Bernard joining us, B-Drive Equipment, all the way from Michigan. And Bernard loves your commentary, Johnny, distilling it down. I like that. I like that too. That's a really clear way of putting something.
Dude, simplification is the goddamn key, man. For all the people out there like myself who are a little slow to start, simplification is the fast track to the finish line, the success you're looking for.
Very much is. Jared, you transitioned from sports to marketing. It's quite the pivot, man. What challenges did you face, and how did you overcome those challenges as you were getting started?
The sports part was just, I think like a lot of guys, and especially growing up in Canada, you wanted to be involved in hockey. And when I realized I wasn't going to make it as a player, it was how do I figure out a way to get involved? And then you realize being in media, there's not a lot of money or opportunity there always. It's a tough nut to crack. And so transitioning over to the corporate side took a lot of time just to figure out how to go from kind of a locker room mentality, traveling with the team and being able to, do whatever, you just live in that world, to refining things a little bit, polishing things up and gaining some structure. I think that the biggest thing in sports or events is that it's kind of, you're always drinking from the fire hose. Things change on an instant. You can't control a lot of stuff. In the corporate world, you've got to have some structure and some planning and some routine, to some of your guys' points earlier, to be successful. So I think building that and getting a handle on how to operate things day to day was probably the biggest, change for me. Yeah.
So we are in a world where there's just digital noise everywhere. And it's just, there seems to be, everywhere you look, there's noise. As you're working with your clients, and talk to Johnny and I as we're building our businesses, how do you help brands maintain authenticity in a world of digital noise? Jared Harman.
Yeah, a couple of things. I think, there's part of that noise of all the different platforms that are out there. And I think, helping our clients and people we work with find the platforms they're comfortable with and is a big part of it, right? Like if you're not comfortable hosting a podcast or, on TikTok, which, a lot of people aren't because it's a newer platform relative to some of the other ones, you're probably going to struggle with that early on. I think when it comes to the authenticity part, it's about, helping those people understand that, again, the people you're trying to work with have to be able to relate to you. And once you can kind of make people understand that the relatability of it all is going to be what makes you successful and bring you clients. The reality of it is there's a lot of business for everybody out there. Like there's very few industries where there's just like such a small niche of people that want to hire you. So if you can get past the point that you're not trying to win every account and you're just trying to, win the accounts that you can work well with, and then what you need to do to communicate that's what's going to make you successful.
So your relatability was a big piece of that puzzle, yeah?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I use real estate agents as an example a lot. Like, there's a lot of realtors out there that, they show the fancy cars, the big $1 million houses, all that kind of stuff, which is great. Nothing wrong with that, but you're going to attract a certain type of client that way. Whereas if you're trying to attract clients that are, a young family who probably aren't looking for a $3 million home and, on the waterfront or something like that, and they're not driving Ferraris and Lambos, it's going to be like pitching them with those types of properties isn't going to work. Right. So you've got to find ways to connect and relate to the people that you want to work with.
Yeah, I'm kind of actually made a comment that I was kind of curious about. It's because it's just a dull moment for Keith, Uncle Keith here for a quick second. Jared, if you're selling $1 million homes as a realtor or $1 billion homes as a realtor, how come you're not living in $1 million home yourself? No, I've seen a lot of realtors who sell these big properties that are living in shitholes. And I'm just kind of curious because if you're selling $1 million properties, you're making some pretty good commissions. I don't know, just a little thought out there.
Smoke and mirrors.
Aha, exactly what it is. Speaking of smoke and mirrors, this show we talk often about the confluence, the intersection of sports and business. You came from the world of sports. Johnny came from the world of sports. Talk about the lessons you've learned from sports that still shapes the business playbook today in your world.
Yeah, I mean, playing, especially team sports, the ability to interact and be successful with different personalities is a huge thing. I think anybody who's ever been on a team will tell you they might not, love everybody that they're on the team with, or they don't necessarily connect at like a real deep level with everybody they're on a team with. So the ability to still be successful in that environment where there's some people you're super close with and others you don't, but you're still able to pull that together and work well together. The other part for me is kind of like a coaching analogy, which is, you've got to be able to talk to everybody differently and understand what's going to make those people tick. And, you can't coach everybody or work with everybody with the same approach. You can't you can't yell and scream at everybody. You can't, you can't hold everybody's hand. You've got to figure out what makes each person go and work within that and have the ability to adapt. Right. So
has that been the biggest learning you have had as a leader, is understanding what buttons to push with different people to get the results you want to get?
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing there was like, when I first started out, you want everybody to do it your way and like, hey, this is how I do it. So this is what's going to work. And you realize that, hey, like just because it works for me, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And trying to find out, okay, like how can I take what works for me, try to adapt it or adjust it or present it to you in such a way that it's going to make you successible, right? Because it's like I said,
there's a problem solving element to the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you just got to understand that, like, it sounds obvious when you say it, but nobody's the same, right? So nobody's going to have the same response. Sorry, not everybody's going to have the same response.
Totally. You make the statement about, it's obvious that everyone's not the same. We talk often about obvious things here on the show, and it's incredible how much obvious knowledge is to most of us. Yet there's so many folks that say, I know, and still don't get after it and hit the snooze button. Or they say, I know, and they're crushing the fucking cola when they should be doing something different. So I joke about what we always assume to know, yet it's so difficult for us humans to execute on what we actually know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think that's like part of it too. Like realizing that, certain things aren't for everybody either, right? And, whether it's running your own business or, like having, playing certain sports, like not everybody wants to do this. Not everybody wants, and finding how those people fit into the equation too, right? Like, the older I get, the more you realize some people just want to work the 9 to 5 and do their thing. And that's awesome. It's cool to recognize that and just get after it that way and do your thing and be happy with it. Like nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to working with a team of people, like understanding what they're all trying to do and get to too. Like some people on our team, just they're happy. Like we've got videographers and photographers. they're all really, really good at what they do. And if they wanted to, they could probably do their own thing, but they'd rather have somebody else deal with the, payroll and all that crap, right? They don't want to do that stuff. They're happy just to be told to go, or go shoot this and create this and do that. And, bring it back the other way, or, build this website, or, it's not their thing to be doing it all on their own. And that's where you pull those pieces together and find a way to make it mesh.
Jared Harman, the CEO and co-founder of the One Group, joining us from Surrey, British Columbia this morning. Coming up in a number of moments, we got Evante Daniels joining us in the green room. Jared, before we do some rapid fire quickly with you, over your shoulder, I can see Johnny's looking and I'm looking. Over your left shoulder, you got a number of really cool images on the wall. Tell us a little bit about the story of those images, brother.
I mean, they're just different. I don't know, I guess celebrities or athletes that have had like an influence on, whether business or life, or just people that I think have been influential for different reasons. I mean, if I'm being brutally honest, it's there as a talking point for when people come into the office. It's kind of an icebreaker thing.
Oh,
but they're all, I mean, I got everybody from, Bret the Hitman Hart to, Mike Tyson and Princess Diana there. So it's just a bunch of different people that I think were, interesting or influential for different reasons.
What did you take from Bret the Hitman Hart?
I just loved him as a kid growing up. I was at like every wrestling show, known to man when I was a kid at the old Agrodome in Vancouver. And I actually when I was working in sports, I got to spend a day with him, and it was a pretty cool experience.
Interesting. Hey, bro, Jared, do you own the Indian Bistro, the Tasty Indian Bistro?
No, they're a client of ours.
So we got Jason Brophy coming in. Brophy's a big fan of the show. At least I think he's a big fan of the show. I've been to the Tasty Indian Bistro. I believe One owns that. We love Bret in the West. Yes, Bret, the Hitman Hart. Johnny, do you ever cross paths with Hitman in your wrestling career?
No, I did not. Most of my time was. Well, I mean, I think by the time I was coming in, I think he was long gone.
Yeah, the Hart family, as you know, Johnny, big wrestling family up here.
Yeah, they're huge up in Canada. The Dungeon is what they called it.
Yes, that's right. All right, Brophy, Brophy, Harman, we're gonna do some quick hitters before we walk out of the lab here, brother. One hockey lesson you use in marketing today.
Always take a shot.
Nice. Your ultimate pitch pump up song.
Victory by Notorious Big.
Oh, there you go. The BIG. TikTok or Instagram? Which one stays?
Instagram.
Most Canadian thing about your agency?
We're authentic.
Oh, if your agency had a mascot, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know. A dog. We've got like 8 dogs here, so like a dog.
The husky, baby. The husky is right behind you.
Well, I got 3 of them though, so I can't just pick just him. He's just the youngest. That's why he's here.
Well, then you got the crew, the husky crew.
I love it. Strangest client request you've accepted?
Oh God. We haven't had. I know it's boring, but we haven't had anything super weird. I mean, we like just nothing. Yeah, nothing. I'm sorry, that's a lame answer, but we haven't gotten anything weird. Now I'm going to push for something odd.
And what's your morning routine before a big launch?
Same as every day. Get up, coffee, take the dog for a walk, get into the office early, get prepared, and get after it.
And brother, as a Canadian, I'm just down the road from you up here in Manitoba. Is it mom or is it mum?
Mum.
Johnny.
How do you spell it?
MOM.
Oh, you people. Jesus Christ.
And
it's like when they say out. You say out.
Nobody says out.
It's like, are we fucking owls here? Woof, woof. Are we?
And is it garage, Jared Harman, or is it garage?
Garage.
There you go. Jared, where can folks connect with you, find you, and engage with the One Group agency, Jared Harman, this morning on Mornings in Live with Keith and Friends?
Yeah, onegroupagency.ca or at Jared Harman.
Awesome. And then finally, my last one for you, brother. What's the most unexpectedly rewarding moment you've had since starting your agency? Something that made you stop and think, this is why I do what I do.
We had a bunch of clients during COVID that had to like temporarily close their doors. We lost all of our business during that time. But about 2 days into it, we decided we were going to just stick with our clients, and we actually continued to work for our clients through all of lockdown, and there was no ulterior motive or anything like that. We were just like, well, let's just keep doing work. Hopefully their doors open up again. And we played a big role in keeping a bunch of our clients in business throughout that and then after that. And on the back end, the reward was they all came back to us, which is great. So kept our business alive at the same time.
That's cool. Jared Harman, thanks for joining us this morning on Mornings Live with Keith and Friends. We come back and hang out again sometime.
Anytime. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. I appreciate
Pleasure,
you.
brother.
Awesome. Jimmy, we're going to walk Jared out of here, and we're going to come back with Evante Daniels before we walk Johnny out of the lab here in a quick second. Johnny, what do you got going on today, brother?
This is it's a kind of I should say a big week as people start coming in, I think on Wednesday. So we've got so it's just do what I normally do plus get everything ready.
That's awesome. Yeah, big holiday week for you. Get the family coming in, eh?
Yeah, shit. I think there's gonna be 12 people here.
Wow, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, pal. Well, listen, I'm going to get you out of here. My bladder's calling. I'm doing a little dance over here. I got Evante Daniels. So what we're going to do, Jimmy, is we're going to walk Johnny out. I'm going to run over there to the bladder hole. I'm going to go for a quick piss while we run the clip. We're going to bring Evante in. And Johnny, we'll see you tomorrow morning, brother.
Have a good loop, my brother.
All right, pal. Let's get after it. Jimmy, let's run the clip. I'll be back in 20 seconds. Let's do it.
Meet Evante Daniels, who turned childhood curiosity into a cultural revolution. At 10, while others mastered multiplication, he mastered Photoshop, launching his professional career before puberty. Today, he's founder of Seeker, the Bloomberg of cultural intelligence. Evante invented cultural physics, decoding how perceptions move through organizations. Evante Daniels, from child prodigy to cultural physicist, redefining how companies operate.
Evante, well, that was the quickest I've ever gone in my entire life. Holy freaking smokers, Jimmy. That is awesome, man. Evante Daniels is a CSO and founder of Seeker, a cultural intelligence. Dude, hold on. Evante, sorry, man. I got to pause and be all proud of myself for a second here. I got to do a little pat on the back. Oh, yeah, man. So the bathroom's about 20 feet over there. I knew that I had about 45 some odd seconds. And I'm 53. And sometimes you guys know, man, like the flow is not as fast as it used to be, guys. So I got there, I aimed, and I went. And dude, it happened. And now I'm back with Evante Daniels, the CSO and founder of Seeker, a cultural intelligence firm that builds diagnostic tools. What's going on, Evante? We celebrated you a couple weeks back. How are you, pal?
Yo, what's going on, Keith? Happy to be here, man.
Yes, we celebrated you a couple weeks back on the Creator Spotlight on the Community Corner. Now we brought you in here today. You describe yourself as I got my notes here, as a cultural physicist who studies how perception spreads through bodies, narratives, and structures under pressure. Dude, when I read that, I was like, I got to fucking talk with this guy. That is awesome.
Well, we got to have a good piece of copy, right? If we're going to be out here and trying to tell people about what we do.
Dude, and then hold on, Carter, Jimmy, this guy, his work blends ethnography or ethnography design. I've never used that word before in my entire life. What the hell is ethnography? Hey, nation, Bernard Brophy, educate me. Clody, educate Uncle Keith over here. Ethnography.
So we're going to start with the word, which is ethnography.
I'm glad Anderson's not right here because he'd be fucking throwing me under the bus. We've been doing word class all morning, mum or mom. Now it's ethnography. Evante, what the hell is ethnography?
No, so there are a lot of words that boil down to really simple things. This is one of them, right? So when we want to understand people, we want to understand who they are, where they come from, right? Then we ask questions like, yo, where are your moms from? Where are you from? Where's your neighborhood? What do you like to eat? Where do you go?
Yeah.
All of those questions. Is it mom or mom, right?
Yes.
All of those questions help you understand exactly who a person is, where they live, what they do, what matters to them, how they show up in the world. And the classic term, I guess the college term for that is ethnography.
Interesting. I did not know that, brother. I learned this today. Honest to God, this is awesome for me.
Yeah. So when we talk about culture, we look at who we are as people, right? Like, how do you show up every single day? Why are you wearing the glasses that you do or the hat that you do? And while there are choices, there's also influence, right? Like there are things that make us lean to the things that we like. I got a Marvin Gaye painting behind me because my pops loves Marvin Gaye, right? Like and because we know that we're all kind of stitched together through these various fluences and choices, then like if we can track that, if we can ask the questions and understand where those things come from, then we understand a lot more about what makes us human.
Dude, this is fucking fascinating. I'll tell you why I love this, because I'm just going to get culture with you. A massive moment happened in the last 7 days in New York City.
Yeah.
An Indian Democratic mayor. Yeah. And New Yorkers and Democrats and Republicans all woke up going, what the hell just happened? And I'm not standing here with judgment. I'm standing here purely based on the ethnography, because there's now, and I'm talking about the right thing, ain't I? Because when we look at his background and how he arrived at that and all that cultural influence and then everything that you do, which is perception, the cultural physicist, I'm speaking the right language in it right now.
No, you got it. You got it. No, this is why, like, I was talking to a couple of friends about his campaign, and they were like, "Yo, how do you feel about it?" I was like, "Bro, it's brilliant because he's speaking New Yorker. He's speaking to a New Yorker." Like, there's a clip where I think they were like interviewing all the candidates, and they're like, "Where would you go if you got a chance to go anywhere?" And like everybody was like, "Oh, I'm going to Israel," and he was like, "I'm not going anywhere. I live in New York." He's like, "Why would I go somewhere?" And like, if you've met a New Yorker before,
I've spent a lot of time in New York. Yes, 100%.
That's exactly the mode, right? Isn't why the hell would I go anywhere? I live in New York.
Yeah,
and so like,
I guess I as I've been around the planet a couple years younger than you. I'm suspecting. I just didn't realize that it was caught up in this idea of ethnography design, right? And the systems and the cultural and how all the pieces get put into I guess a structure, and that structure is ethnography that you study. I'm fascinated by it, man. I really am. This is fascinating to me. I'm a dude. I want to get into this kind of conversations. I like to lean right into them.
Go for it. Let's see wherever you want to go, bro.
Yeah. So where are you today, by the way? Where are you coming from?
I'm from I'm in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's right. You got your ass out of bed this morning. That's awesome. So you're also the author of Power Beats and Rhymes, a book exploring hip hop's cultural power dynamics. Again, like ethnography, right?
Yeah. So you're seeing the thread perfectly, bro. Like, so Power Beats and Rhymes was published last year.
Love this.
It's a love letter to my boys in Atlanta that I grew up with, because we grew up understanding politics. We ended up having conversations with the old heads in our community who would say, "Yo, you need to understand this world around you. You need to understand how these things work." And, they're always looking for illustrations to help us understand it at a younger age. Right. And so this book was kind of my attempt to say, like, yo, there are a lot of power dynamics at play in the world here. There are a lot of things that are happening culturally and around us. And it can be really overwhelming to show up as a person and all the stuff that's going on today. But hip hop, as not just a genre of music, I see you with your Eminem behind you.
Yes.
Not just as a genre of music, but as a philosophy, as a political movement.
Yes.
We want to throw out a big word. We could say it's a decentralized movement.
Oh, yes.
That comes from the community. And so like now when we're dealing with political stuff, when we're dealing with social issues, I'm like, yo, just look at how we did it in rap, because that shows you literally bone by bone, DNA by DNA. How do you build something on culture? How do you build something off of communal power? And what you get out of it is something raw that just can't be contained. And so that book explores the history of power, explores how power has been gathered over the last, all the way back to the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
And then says like, yo, if you're trying to understand how to survive, you should be looking at these rappers and these producers and these MCs and these breakers who came out in the 80s and then the 90s, who had to figure this stuff out in their community when no system worked.
I'm fucking loving this, by the way. I hope you can tell. What drew you into hip hop?
I grew up in it. I'm from Atlanta.
Yeah.
I'm a 90s kid.
Like Outkast, Andre 2000, like all those Ludacris, all those guys.
Yeah, all those guys. Like, so, my favorite quote about Atlanta of all time is the 94 Source Awards. The South got something to say. I have been a fan of rap as long as I can remember.
Yes.
And it just makes up the body of really what you see in Atlanta culture. And so Growing up in that environment, growing up listening to Luda, listening to Pastor, Pastor Troy, to
Wayne.
Dungeon Family, to Wayne, even when Drake was still someone that we wanted to listen to. I remember those days. I was in high school, right? So like,
so was Drake made in Atlanta or was
no? So Wayne is a New Orleans cat.
Yes,
he comes from the lineage of Wayne with Nicki Minaj. So he's still a Toronto dude, but like you know, by the time the 2010 showed up, rap had gone digital. Yes. And so you didn't really have city fights the way we used to, where it was like, oh, you're only hearing the things that are from your city, right? And so Drake pops up on the scene, you know, it started from the bottom. Now we hear a lot of classic pieces. And that's when I was really, you know, as a teenager, it was fire.
Yes.
Shortly after that, of course, we get to Pimp a Butterfly with Kendrick Lamar.
Yes.
And, you know, I think that's when I really got to see the political power that hip hop has today.
Yes.
Where you get to have this conversation between Kendrick and Tupac, of lineage being passed. Yeah, man, it's a lot. And so when I look at hip hop, a lot of the work that I do now, when I look at how to even build a team, how to understand roles or responsibilities, a lot of times I go back to how Dungeon Family ran in Atlanta. I go back to how the Wu-Tang ran in New York. And use that actually is for leadership, for culture, to understand movements, to understand distribution, to understand how to flip game, because that's what they did. And they taught it.
Fuck, it's brilliant. My mind is bursting with curiosity right now and questions. I gotta jump to the one that I was gonna drop at the end, but I gotta ask it right now.
Go for it.
Are you a wrestling guy? Grew up wrestling a little bit? Wrestling?
A little bit. It was more of boxing than wrestling.
All right, so let me ask you, because I'm asking this for a reason. So is Drake and Kendrick kayfabe? The last 12 months, a little bit of kayfabe, because let me preface it for you.
Okay.
So we know that music very much is a generational thing. 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Taylor did her Eras tour that exited her 10 years.
Yep.
Drake did his last 10 years, and it was kind of almost like a passing off, right? And we live in a world now where you got to grab attention, you got to do crazy shit, and we both knew that the world of hip hop is all about battles and rap battles, and unfortunately, East versus West, and all the bullshit that we know about, right?
Yep.
So I have to wonder. There's just too much logic lined up with kayfabe for Kendrick and Drake. You know, is it a coincidence that the Super Bowl was on one side of the world and Drake was on the other side of the world in Australia? You know, so that you can now get a 24-hour media cycle, because Kendrick can have his 12 hours and then 12 hours later Drake. Like there just seems to be too much curiosity that has you and I talking about it today.
Yeah. Yo, look, so let's go ahead and drop the biggest bomb of the debate of the Drake and Kendrick part. They're on the same record label.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. And I'm going to sue your ass. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Like, I think my favorite, like, we're going to back into we'll talk about the beef in a little bit, but like my favorite moment in the entire situation was Universal Music Group telling Drake to drop the lawsuit.
Yes.
And they were just like, dude, what are you doing? Like,
yes.
So,
but you know what's great about that, Evante? That statement drove 4 more days of headlines.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it drove 4 more days of talk show
It
conversations.
was a phenomenal campaign from a conversation point. But it also shows, like, all right, so we had to talk about the trajectory of Drake, and this actually ties back into culture and cultural intelligence, right? Yes.
But I think it even ties back to what you said with business, because when you telling me you're building business, you look back to Wu-Tang, to Dungeon, you look back to all these things and the structure of how they built business. And let's face it, brother, there's a lot of great successul rap artists that built businesses without the internet, and that's called hustling.
Yeah.
Right. So now we're talking about the business of rap today, dude. It all goes. It all goes back together, doesn't it?
It cycles perfectly back. That's really where I wanted to go. So, like, you know, when you look at, I like to call them the OGs, the 90s rappers, those who are still held in esteem, Talib Kweli, Yassine Bey, even Rick Ross. Like, you know, we have these guys who just bring heat. They do not like Drake.
I know.
And like, they have not liked Drake.
Yes.
Right. And so a lot of people, when I would have this conversation, we'd be in the, in the box or whatever, they'd be like, yo, you think it's because he sucks? It's like, it's not because of his talent. It's because he won't claim a tribe. And when you look back, and this is going to dismantle the whole debate as to there's a difference between rap as an industry and rap as a culture.
Culture, yes.
Because hip hop, Eminem claims Detroit. He's from Detroit.
Yes.
Right? Wu-Tang claims Staten Island. They're from Staten Island. Atlanta, Outkast claims West Atlanta. When you know where you're from, you know who you are. Doesn't mean that you stay there, but you understand your own ethnography. You understand the own influences that are behind you. What we've seen with Drake, what rappers have seen with Drake, what they've said about Drake is that he just bounces around and he flips style inauthentically to match people in different places.
Well, and one would say that, yes, while Drake owns Toronto, he was created in Atlanta.
He was created in Atlanta. He was heavily influenced in New Orleans. If you remember way back when he was doing like mixtape after mixtape, there was a Jamaican mixtape, there was a British mixtape, there was a Toronto mixtape, there was an LA mixtape. And so
maybe perhaps cultural expropriating different movements with people like, who the fuck are you?
Which is why Kendrick in one of his pieces is like, yeah, you go down to Atlanta like a colonizer.
Yeah.
Right. You, regardless of how you are in this space, you can approach this completely different. You can approach this and put the wrong thing on top. And for him, what a lot of rappers have said is that it seems like it's just fame and business rather than it being around community. Hip hop has always been a tool to leverage capital, to reinvest in your community, to do things that you can't do through institutions. The perfect example of that is Kendrick Lamar's Juneteenth concert on Amazon Live, where he unites a whole city together, right? Brings everybody up on stage and shows LA what LA is. And so what you really have in this debate between Kendrick and Drake is you have culture versus industry. You've got the perfect animal who looks like, oh, dude, he's always on top because he drops a new album every single year. He's always making noise. It's not always great, but he's going to throw out some mess and he's going to stay popular. That's Drake. You may not hear from Kendrick for 5 years, bro.
I'm in love right. This is I'm just, my words are stumbling because I'm having so much fun with this. Hey, Alameda, I see your comments there we started this. This is Mornings in Live with Keith and Friends. Alameda, I see your comments there on the horizontal stream. We get after every single day here at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Myself, Jon Andersen, Saam Golgoon Fit, and our guest right now, Evante Daniels, joining us all the way from San Francisco. We're talking cultural physicists. We're talking ethnography. We're having incredible conversations about the roots of music and hip hop culture. And all the stuff, frankly, that people get curious going, old Uncle Keith, white guy from 53-year-old Canada is all about this hip hop culture. Actually, yeah, 100%. You could pick me up and put me in the Eminem shirt and put me right in the middle of fucking Atlanta, right in the middle of fucking Compton, and I'm hanging out with the crew. Because that's how I grew up with West Coast, like Motley Crue and Rat and music, right? But then as I aged, I was drawn into hip hop. Very much. And because I think of the culture of it. And I think of the I'm going to use the word anti-corporate, but the authenticity, right? The being yourself, right? And I have a lot of admiration for, and I'll be honest, I don't find myself as one who appropriates. I find myself leaning into it. I love the history of it. I love the learning of it. And I think by talking with you, you can see that I just didn't fall out of the fucking.
No, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's exactly what you said. It teaches you how to build business authentically.
Yes. Well, because what I love, because if you think about these artists that we're talking about, dude, hustling on the street corners.
Yeah.
Right. And everything against you to become something is something quite, exceptional to me here. So I got a whole list of questions. I probably got 3 hours of conversation for you, but my producer's in my ear saying, we probably should keep it going here. But dude, I got a few things for you here. Yeah. You were approached by David Duke's political team in 2016, but you refused it. I'm curious.
Yeah.
So, how did, when you refused that moment reshaped your entire career trajectory?
It did. It genuinely did. So this was during the 2016 senator race in Louisiana. David Duke ran And for those who don't know that name of history, he's the former Grand Wizard of the KKK.
Yes.
Especially during a very significant period of national prolific power.
But they approached you. Why?
To do opposition research. So during that point, and I'm a researcher. Where strategy starts is by asking a lot of questions. And so for a while, when I was in Louisiana, I did opposition research. Very much would spend time diving into ethnography, asking the questions to understand the values of the people, where they were from, what they really cared about. We'll bring that back to a political campaign and say, hey, here's how we need to massage this language to make it work a lot better in this community. And I got this email from David Duke's campaign manager or someone close to, and was like, hey, you know, we've gotten this information about you. We've heard really great things about you. And we would love to work with you on opposition research for this upcoming senator race in 2016. And, you know, I'm just sitting here reading this email being like, yo, what the hell? Like,
well, you're a man of color. You got to be thinking to yourself, like, I'm going to make an assumption. Was it, is this a fucking joke? Like, and your parents must have been like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was just one of those like, dude, what the fuck is actually happening right now?
Yes.
And, you know, I was younger, so I didn't necessarily respond with the awareness of the room that apparently I had just stepped into. And so I was like, dude, do you know that I'm fucking black? Like, it was very much like, yo, get the hell out of here. Like, I don't, right? And so for the next several years, my house was targeted. My phone lines were targeted because, you know, I had people drop shit on my front porch in Louisiana.
Oh, dude.
Very much, and like was just in it. And you know, when that's your Tuesday, you're not really scared about it as much as you're just like, fuck these guys.
Yes.
And so, you know, that really set me on this path to be like, it's crazy that we live in a world where David Duke can run for Senate again, for state Senate, and then get 16% of the vote in 2016 after like all of the pain that he had caused. And I think it really let me look at media and culture to see what influences the way people see stuff. Because I'm like, if I heard the stories that I did about David Duke when I was growing up, it wouldn't be a consideration. But what if you didn't hear those stories? What if you didn't know that name? Right? Are you really someone who's at fault for not knowing that part of history that was kept from you?
When I saw that comment, and I was like, holy fuck. Like, it in some ways it's the ultimate douchebag approach from the David Duke camp.
Yeah.
Like that's the ultimate power douchebag move, which is, hey, we're going to go hire an African-American person to go and do the research for us, because that's just, you're kind of like, what?
And I mean, like, let's not knock it. If they found the right guy, it would have been a brilliant move.
Wow.
You got to accept. You have to at least acknowledge the game of the moment, right? But like, okay,
fair comment,
right?
Fair
like,
comment.
You guys have to climb this giant hill that says, "Yo, we were racist for decades. We still are, and we need someone to help us figure this out." Yeah. If you can find a black dude on your team who can help translate that, best of luck.
Dude. No shit. We're hanging out with Evante Daniels, joining us, the CEO of Seeker. Evante, you describe culture as shared perception over time at scale.
Yep.
Hear that again, nation. He describes culture as shared perception over time at scale. I am a huge fan of that statement. Give me a real example.
Sure.
Of how this actually plays out in a company.
Yeah. Oh man. You know what? Let's take it back to 2001. Because everybody lived through this together, at least at the point for most of your viewership. 9/11 happens.
Yes.
September happens, 9/11 happens, and then it's the 12th, right? It's the next day.
Yes.
The news has blown up, right? Like, this conversation is a conversation we've never had in America, not since Pearl Harbor.
Yes.
Right? There are a lot of questions going through people's minds. You have people in Islamic backgrounds who are already seeing the ties over just a day afterwards, who understand that the environment has changed for them and their families. You have the diehard Americans who are feeling a completely different way after this attack. You have the locals in New York who, lost family members and friends. You have the firefighters. All of these people go through one moment, and they all have different perceptions, right? They all have different experiences in that moment because they're living it in a different place. I was in first grade what had happened. And so like I got pulled out of school early. Our school closed early when it happened. And I remember that. I remember going home and seeing it on the news. Completely different perspective from my mom's, who was a working professional at that time, who still had clients, who still had things to do. And so what happens when something like that happens in the world? Well, all these people who are in all different walks of life all experience one thing together, and they end up saying, oh my God, right? And through that, oh my God, it shapes based off of where they are, who they've been, what they've done. And so when they show up on the 12th, when they show up on the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, as long as it's being talked about, no matter how real it is, that is in the back of their mind as they're working on their Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So the question for a leader in 2001 is not just national security and supply chains. It's what is the fear that my employees are going through right now? What are they thinking? How are they feeling? Because they're still showing up to work, and I'm grateful for that. But I can't nearly expect them to say, oh, my mind is clear. I'm not thinking about this whole attack that just happened. And so if you're a frontline worker, that experience is different. If you're a senior executive in leadership, that experience is different. If you're a vendor who works with this company and you're worried about supply chains, your experience is different. If you're a customer and the only experience you have with this company is seeing their ad on TV, your experience is different. And so when we go through those moments, leadership and what we talk about from culture is to say that, one, we have these things that break all barriers of how we reach each other. But then the ethnography of the situation, us as people, is going to shape how we see it. And so those who have similar perceptions, who come from similar spaces, who come through similar experiences, usually end up having a pretty uniform value around it, right? You see something happen together and you go, oh my God, that was terrible. Boom. A whole group of people say that. That's a cultural value. This thing was terrible. And it happened not because of one guy saying that to himself, but because a whole bunch of people said it together. And so when we talk about fear, it's not just the individual part of it. It's the fact that you are not feeling this alone. It's the fact that there is somebody out of the 9 billion people on this planet that probably is feeling this like you are. And do you think that's influencing the way that they walk through this world? Do they show up in this world? Do they do the things they're responsible to do? Does you think it shows up in their buying patterns? I mean, how many guns were bought between 2001 and 2004?
Yeah.
Right. And so if we understand the humanity of it all, right, that when we see something like this, we go, oh, shit. And then we have a multitude of responses based off of the environment that we live in and that we're from.
Because a company's culture, as you were describing it in those moments after 9/11, is and was and did actually change
drastically
over a period of time.
Absolutely.
I never thought about it that way, because on the day before it happened, then the day it did happen, and then over that period of time, everybody's perception of that moment was different. But then as a result of it, the culture of that company over time completely changed.
Yeah. How do you think Boeing, what was happening at Boeing afterwards?
Yeah. Duh.
Right?
Or United Air. Yeah.
Or JetBlue or any of these guys.
It never was the same. So it's interesting because it affected all of us as humans and how we traveled, but the cultures of companies was never the same from that moment before that.
Exactly. And this is what teaches you the key part about culture and perception, right? That the institution, the business,
yes,
doesn't contain culture. It's a space where people gather and culture is created.
Yes.
Right? That if I'm from Atlanta and I show up at work, and my homie's from San Ho and he shows up at work, and we're working together and we experience something together and we say, yo, it's dope working here. Boom. We've just created a cultural moment. We've just come to a conclusion or established value in this organization. And so the leader's job, the question in building a company that lasts, isn't just the financial or the operations. It's like literally, can people come in here and do their shit? And can they do it in a way that's cohesive enough for us to build?
So I have Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Cultural moment or a corporate check the box?
Both.
Interesting. You know what? I want to bring you back for further conversation. Listen, Christopher Martin, who's my co-host, who happens to be African American. Not that it doesn't matter, but we talk about it all the time because Marty's a fan of labels.
Yeah.
Because it allows us to have a conversation of them around them, where there's many. And I bring up Marty on purpose because because we talk about this on this show often. He's like, no, we got to have labels, so it forces us to talk about them. When folks say, no, I don't like to have labels. Marty's like, no, I don't mind being a proud Black man, but but don't judge me for my success because I'm a Black man.
Right.
Judge me because I'm a hard worker, because I'm a human being. But his comments are rooted in the fact of, and he's the same as you, which is it is both his corporate checkbox mark, but it's also not this idea of why do we have to celebrate these things as well. I'm trying to be cryptic. You know what I'm trying to say, Evante?
No, I get exactly what you're saying, right? And we have to acknowledge that our culture is complicated. There are a lot of factors at any one moment. For us to see something on the news means there's a profitability to it. And it's a sad reality that we live in, like regardless of what you see, that means that it's going to engage viewers, it's going to engage data, it's going to bring the stuff in there. And so anytime we're dealing with culture being shared through centralized means, through platforms, through all of this stuff, we do have to consider the corporate checkbox. And if we don't, then we're not looking at it clearly.
Dude, your parents must be exceptionally proud of their son.
They say I do all right. They probably wish I would make my bed more often.
Evante Daniels is the CEO of Seeker and the guy who literally invented the field of cultural physicists, not the theory, but the actual mechanics of how perception moves through organizations. He's a cultural ethnographer who's worked with Apple, Adidas, and Jordan. But here's the wild part. He got his start at 10 years old doing video production work while his mom worked in desktop publishing. We celebrated Evante a couple weeks back on the Community Corner. We invited him in the show today because we got somebody that we're going to celebrate next on behalf of Evante Daniels this morning on Mornings in Lab. This is our Community Corner. Here's the reality, Daniels. I would have you here for hours. I could talk with you forever.
Well, let's do a longer segment next time. Let's do something.
I have clearly, I apparently have time responsibilities that I have to keep moving the show.
You got to be a host, man. You got to.
But I'm loving this, dude. I could fucking talk to you for hours. I could talk culture. I could talk hip hop. I could talk music. I could talk
business, politics. You bring it. We'll talk about it. Let's do a longer thing next time.
I'm digging you. All right, let's do this. You've got the drive, the late nights, the do-it-all mentality, but sometimes it feels like you're playing a game that's rigged for the big guys. Well, there's someone out there who got tired of seeing small businesses squeezed out of the growth conversation, and she did something about it. This woman's the reason over 200 agencies and countless small businesses stopped spinning their wheels and started seeing real results. Well, she built 2 companies from scratch. One helping small businesses break through plateaus, another coaching agencies to build growth that actually lasts. She's consulted, spoken on big stages, and travels thousands of miles just to meet her clients face to face. Pittsburgh knows her, Founders knows her, Evante Daniels knows her. And if you care about real growth, now you are going to know and meet her too. Mornings in the Lab, Business Athlete Nation, I'm excited to introduce you this morning to Nora Denuzzo, entrepreneur, growth strategist, and the powerhouse behind Pitcher and Blood, Sweat, and Tears. If you want to see what happens when someone puts small businesses first, go connect with Nora today. She's rewriting the playbook one underdog at a time. Evante, why did you nominate Nora for today's Creator Spotlight?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to build Seeker without Nora. Nora's been a homie for years. And, when you're building and you're in it, you need someone who can consistently give you perspective, who can help you see the moves that you need to make. Nora is one of those people who does it without a blink in her eyes. She just lives in that world. She understands how to build that stuff. And so you need to have somebody on your team who's not just able to build with you, but knows how the pieces work.
Nora Denuzzo, we celebrated Evante. He's on the show. We'd love to have you on the show. Would love to celebrate somebody in your orbit. I bet you there's somebody in your orbit, Nora, who you're like, this person's awesome. So what we like to do is hand you the Community Spotlight, the Creator Spotlight, so you can shine it forward and we can pay this amazing segment forward. So Nora, that's how it works. We'd love to have you on Mornings in Lab with Keith and Friends on the Community Corner, Creator Spotlight, get you on the show here very, very soon. Dude, Jimmy, I know we got to walk Evante out of here. We're going to continue the Community Corner here. I'm going to wrap up with Evante. There are certain folks that come on the show, Evante. Like, I've been fortunate to meet hundreds across my show, hundreds. And there are certain folks that I find myself wanting to continually walk towards the camera with love. And I use that word strongly in a men's show, with love and respect. Dude, I want to sprint towards you.
That means a lot. Thank you.
My heart, and I got my buddy Matthew Roof here saying, you know, I need more Evante in my life. I need more Evante in my life. I'm fucking in love, man. You're awesome. I love the work you're doing. I love what you stand for, the way you speak. Brett, you come back anytime, man. And I want to have you back. Seriously. I want to do a longer conversation with you. You bring a lot to the table that I think a lot need to hear.
I really appreciate that.
I do. Because I think cultural discussions aren't had enough.
Yeah.
Right. And because I'm a fan of discourse, conversation.
Yeah.
I don't have to agree with you. I want to have a conversation. I want to learn about it. I want to be curious. Right. And I don't think the world has enough of that. And that's why I've really enjoyed my conversation with you today, man.
So likewise, this has been a blast. I always say that shared perspective is a great teacher, and you know, getting to enjoy this conversation. And, you know, I knew it was going to be dope when I saw the Eminem in the background, and looking forward to coming back on at some point too.
Yeah, that's let's do some quick hits before we go though, because I love doing the quick hits before we go. So let's do some quick hits before we get out of here, Jimmy. Let's do this. Quark Express or Photoshop if you had to pick one forever.
Oh my God, Photoshop.
So when I wrote, I was like, Quark Express, like what is it, fucking 1880? I do. And I got a couple years on you, brother. I remember Quark Express.
Dude, that's where I started.
I love it. I love it. Most embarrassing client interaction you're willing to share?
I had a client stop a meeting to ask for parental advice on a child they were adopting.
Oh. And what kind of advice did you give them?
They were like, do you have any books on like growing up as an African-American kid? And I was like, I'm not a parent. Like, good luck. You better figure that out. Oh, man. It's like, build community, figure it out. Cause I don't have any modern resources. I'm sorry, dude.
I love it. Atlanta or San Francisco, which city shaped you most?
Atlanta.
Outcast or current hip hop, what's your creative fuel?
Outcast.
Yeah, biggest I can't believe this worked moment in your career.
When we launched our first proprietary algorithm at Seeker, we built an AI that measures cultural resiliency in real time by like pulling data together. And the minute we flipped it on, we were able to predict Blockbuster's collapse 2 years before the stock market signified it. And that was the day that we realized that we were doing something different.
Wow. One tool you can't live without in your work.
Otter AI. I write through talking. I'm a transcriber. I'm an orator. And so when I talk through theory, when I write, I'm recording myself. I could not do it if I was typing.
I'm a huge fan of Otter too. You know what tool I have been introduced to lately, which you might be intrigued by, San Francisco company recently invested by Anderson Horowitz, Cluely.com.
Okay, I'm gonna check this out.
You should check it out. Yeah. You know, one thing I want to say that just comes right off the cuff for me. I'm really glad that you're an African-American male leading this conversation around cultural importance. Because I think it was some old white dude, nobody paid attention to it. And I'm being fucking serious, man. Honest to God.
No, I get it. I get it.
Serious because it's like, again, some other fucking white dude having this conversation again. No, let's have an articulate African-American fellow who can make us all think about it.
Yeah.
Be curious about it. Right. And I mean that with love and respect, because
I take it that way.
It's how it should be, because there's too many folks that are offering opinions that don't really have much to say.
No, that's true. The signal to noise ratio has surpassed 1.
You know, it's funny when I asked you the question about, you said to me that somebody asked your experience on raising a child, and you're like, I'm not a parent yet. I at the start of the show, we were talking about Dr. Peter Attia, and we have all these longevity experts now in the world who are telling us how to live longer. Mm-hmm. Dude, they haven't lived longer than you and I. So how do they know to have to live longer?
Right. There you go. That's the question.
We're on the social proof now, Evante, because I want social proof. So, well, if you're not 100, how the fuck are you telling me to live to 100?
Right. All the people I know who have lived to 100 have done it through taking in heavy carcinogens. You know, if they stopped smoking, they would die. It's stuff like that. It's not by, yoga, unfortunately. I'm just saying.
Oh, man. Evante Daniels, where can my community connect with you, engage with you, reach you, work with you, hire you, get to know more of Evante Daniels? Although you guys, I'm going to fucking fight you for his time. But anyways, how can they get a hold of you at Seeker, brother?
Yo, so my LinkedIn's the best way to find me. I'm on LinkedIn almost every day. In my profile link is actually a link to my calendar. So if you've got the guts, I say grab some time.
Yeah.
If you can also go to Seeker's website, seeker.co, to learn more about the work that we do and how you can partner with us. If you want to read more of my opinions, more of my deeper reads, I'm also on Substack. I have cultural field notes where I report cultural systems in real time, things that are being shaped by what's going on around us. As they pop up, I write about it, I drop it out there. And so between those three, you can find out everything you need to know.
Awesome. Evante Daniels joining me from San Francisco this morning. This has been absolutely one of my most favorite conversations I've had on this show. That's a true story. Jimmy, Melissa, since day one I've been doing this, I have loved this. Honest to God. The fact we went down the path of hip hop and music, and there's just so much in that, man. Jimmy's like, we can tell. Yeah, I know you guys can tell because this is all legit, man. I'm like,
no, it's all geek. It's all good.
And we're way past overtime here too. So thank you for the extra time.
Of course. Thank you for having me on your platform and for building a platform and being willing to share stuff like this.
I appreciate it. And I haven't even a chance to get into all those pictures over top your shoulder, man. You mentioned the Marvin Gaye one, but I can see a bunch of other ones that I'm just curious about.
We'll talk about it.
You know what we're going to do, actually? I'm going to send you a picture of me to put over your shoulder. So next time we talk, I can be over your shoulder too.
There we go. I got you. I'll consider it. This is it takes a long time to make it on the wall, but we'll see what we can do.
Okay, hold on. My love is changing quickly. Jimmy, did he just say I'll consider it? What the fuck, man? No.
Are you trying to tell me, Keith, that you belong on the same wall with Marvin Gaye after meeting you for the first time? I don't think so.
I'll consider. I was just professing my love for you. Now you're giving me the consideration.
Most people don't even get the consideration.
I'll consider.
Most times it's like, no, you're not getting on the wall. So you got a high compliment, my friend.
Here's what I'm going to give you. And very rarely do folks get this. Evante Daniels, thanks for coming on the show, brother. I appreciate you. I loved having you on here, and I got a lot of love coming from Canada over you, and I'm looking forward to staying engaged with you, interacting with you, and keep you in my circle, brother.
Likewise. Keith, this was great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Take care, Evante. All right, Jimmy, let's get him out of here, man. That's so much fun, man. Oh, my God. That was true story. Carter, dude's awesome. Huge fan. We got Carter in the studio here today. Help me run the show here. Huge fan of Evante Daniels. I got to be honest, guys. I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't expect that. I learned a lot. I was curious. I could talk to that man for a lot. That's the kind of stuff that gets my brain going. I love culture. I love being curious about it. I love understanding what makes people tick. And clearly what Evante is doing is offering all of those points of conversation. All right, let's get into the community corner part of the show here so we can wrap it up. I got my folks who are like, hey, we got the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. So we're going to do that. It's time for the community corner. No, not that one here. We're going to get to this sound effect over here, and it's going to sound just like this. All right, it's time for the community corner where LinkedIn meets Substack on Mornings Live with Keith and friends. What would your life look like if you upgraded just one small habit this morning? Well, let's dive in and see what our community has been cooking up for morning motivation this morning in the lab. And here's where I get to play some tunes. And here's where it starts to sound a little bit just like this. Whoa! All right. The 90-second gratitude challenge. Tyler Todd's morning reset coming after us. Who hasn't had a morning start with total chaos? Who hasn't? Parents? Well, Tyler Todd's got a fix that's about as simple as it gets. Each morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Then spend just 30 seconds in prayer or meditation focusing on those blessings. That's it. That's it. That's it. Well, Tyler swears by the quick routine. He says it helps him start the day on a positive note and keeps him grounded when things get busy. It's not about overwhelming your whole life. It's about stacking one good habit that actually sticks. We talked about it this morning on the show, guys. So, fellas, if you got 90 seconds, you've got time to upgrade your morning mindset. Who's in for a gratitude reset today or maybe even tomorrow? Ask yourself. 90 seconds. Get up, get after it, and get that gratitude in place. All right. Staying on Substack, number 2 here, myth-busting manhood. Let's not press the panic button yet. Young guys are lost, apparently. They're just lost. They're lost. The manosphere is corrupting everyone. Richard versus Reeves says, what? Richard versus Reeves? No, Richard V. Reeves says, hold up. Data tells a different story. A fresh 1,000-man poll shows the top traits young men admire are providing honesty, confidence, and helping others, not flexing wealth or chasing clout. Translation? Real masculinity. Well, it's service. It's not selfishness. Reeves takes fits. Reeves, take fits our daily accountability vibe. Mature men give more than they get. So before you doom scroll another hot take political thread, remember, most dudes are leaning into integrity, not toxicity. Let's amplify it and keep building a positive live men's conversation. Guys, are you surprised by the stats? Drop your thoughts in the comments. All right, we're going to keep it rolling here. Antonia hits the trail before daylight. No screens, no Slack pings, just 2 interrupted hours with fresh air and big thoughts. It's the Sunrise Sanctuary, Antonio J.A. Hawk's 2-hour trail rule. She calls it her creative sanctuary and her first win of the day. The gear, a headlamp, good shoes, and a non-negotiable mindset. She ditched chaotic mornings of inbox triage for this ritual and has never looked back. So fellas, whether it's a dawn jog, kettlebell session, or porch coffee, I invite you to lock in that anchor habit. Nature plus movement plus solitude equals rocket fuel for the job, the family, and whatever else you've gotten taken care of. That momentum, it loves consistency. So guys, what's your daily non-negotiable? All right, closing it up here in this community corner here this morning. We're going to stay on LinkedIn. Quiet Power. Bjorn Kulix flips the introvert script. He's heard every myth about introverts being too quiet, too slow, or too drained for leadership, and he's here to burst them all. Bjorn just shares how introverted founders use deep focus and thoughtful strategy to win in business. No extroversion, superpowers required. So if you're more about calm than chaos, I invite you to lean in. The lab is about finding your edge, whatever your style. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Let me know in the comments. I'm an introvert. Yeah. All right. There's your wrap on the community corner. 4 reasons to tweak your routine. Question old scripts and double down on purpose. Driven hard work. Once you're posting the spotlight, well, I invite you. Drop your content on LinkedIn or Substack and tag us in your next post. All right, closing it up here, guys. We got one more creator to celebrate today. And it goes a little bit like this. Lady Drew, you're an extrovert? Nah, I don't believe you. You ever wished you could tell what's real and what's hype in a world of men's health? Well, maybe you've tried to get fit, eat better, or just sleep more only to get lost in a sea of advice that never quite works for you. Well, this guy has run Boston in under 2.5 hours on just 4 days of training a week. Yeah. Lady Drew, he writes clear, no BS breakdowns of health and fitness for over 20,000 subscribers. He's a PhD who actually tests what he teaches at exam.com on podcasts and in his own training. We're excited to celebrate Brady Homer, a runner, a scientist, a dad who takes complicated health science and makes it practical for anyone trying to win their morning and their life. Brady is your accountability partner for cutting through the confusion, helping you build a healthy lifestyle you can stick to and get after it every single day. So Brady, here's how it works. We're celebrating you today on the Mornings in the Lab Creator Spotlight in the Community Corner. We'd love to pass you the light so you can celebrate somebody in your world, in your community. It's part of the Creator Spotlight in the Community Corner on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Okay. Let's wrap it up, Jimmy. Let's wrap it up, Carts. Baby. Yeah. Where's my camera? That one. Here we go. Jimmy, we're done. We've gone overtime, guys. Sorry. I'm not really sorry. I had a great chat with Evante. I did not want to rush Evante off the stage. I know I'm going to get shit from Jimmy after going, Billis, you can't fucking manage the time, man. Melissa, they're all my team's all going to give me shit. All my bosses are going to be like, dude, you got to get better with the fucking time. I'm like, no, I was in love with Evante. True story. Maybe man crush. I don't know. The guy just dropped bomb after bomb after bomb. I felt I could talk forever with the guy. Evante Daniels, why cultural physicist is a secret weapon every modern leader needs. We celebrated him a couple weeks ago in the Community Corner where he was on the show here today. We had Jared Harman as well, joining us from Langley, British Columbia from hockey rinks to marketing rinks. Had some great conversation with Jared around the authentic playbook for authentic branding. We had a wonderful chat with the guy from Iran, the mayor of Alma. Yeah, Colorado, first hour. The dude, Saam Golgoon, also brought some bombs throughout the entire first hour of the show. We got a little bit into Peter Attia's Decathlon 100. I think we're going to talk more about it tomorrow for the rest of the week. I'm still kind of curious how somebody can tell me how to live to 100 if they haven't lived to 100 themselves. I don't know. Just kind of curious about that. Bernard, you stuck around. I appreciate you, brother. Brof, you're still there too? Yes. You know what I love about some of the comments, you guys? I got to go back to the top here a little bit. Is that clearly I have a cannabis community here in the comments. Bernard's getting after it. Brof is getting after it. Everybody's, and yeah, it's Canada. We were baptized in that stuff. That is absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Okay, so listen, we're going to get the hell out of here. We're back here tomorrow. 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on LinkedIn, right here on YouTube, right here on X, with producer Jimmy, producer Carter, producer Melissa, Johnny, Marty, the entire gang. AJ's here tomorrow for the whole show as well, guys. So on behalf of everybody that showed up today, I'm your host, Keith Bellis, and we're going to see you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, right here. Have a good one, guys. Yes, cannabis is great, Lady Drew. I'm with you. Roofy, good show, brother. Hey, next week, guys. Next Monday. Kindness Rising, 7:30 Eastern time. Kicking off the Mornings in a Loop block. Mornings in a Lab block here. I invite you guys to get your alarm clock straight. Holroyd, great show, brother. I appreciate you, man. Always love having you in there. I feel a sense of calm when I see Adams there. My phone's lagging bad. All right, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you guys all tomorrow. Remember, 431-300-3005. Join the conversation. Leave a voicemail. Send me a text or come join the live conversation like Rick Cloda did this morning. 431-300-3005. Jimmy, get me out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow.